Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 Black Ice mod. Now this is, not your, daddy's Hearts of Iron by any stretch of the imagination. The Black Ice mod revamps the game to quite some degree, amongst other things completely reworking the resource system, adding in bauxite, raw iron, power, electricity, adding in a food gauge that you need to constantly measure, adding in spoilage, changing the combat system, changing, well, damn near every single solitary aspect of the game, frankly, to add a couple more layers of autism on top of everything. Which means, of course, it's my favorite mod. For obvious reasons. It'll be interesting. I never played Hearts of Iron on stream before, and hey, if it's successful, maybe I'll open up some funding options for you little tards to force me to play other Hearts of Iron mods. There's some good ones to choose from. The alternative history ones, like Kaiserreich's, pretty good. Or alternatively, there's always the My Little Pony mod. Which, unironically, is actually a pretty fun mod. I played it in multiplayer with Kibbs and the gang. It's not bad. It's surprisingly good for, you know, what it is. God help me. We're going to be playing on mostly standard, but I am going to boost the everlasting shit out of America to give myself a nice little end-game threat, so the US of A is already going to be pretty goddamn powerful. Everybody else is going to be on the basic level of additional power. Alright, the Waponies. Let's start going through the checklist, shall we? Although before that, Samuel Eddy, good luck, Arch. Hope you have an eventful game. Also, if Kyle's there and on the other team, give him hell. Yeah. Yeah. And Noah R has been a member for 1 month. The God Emperor will show the pores. Shower the pores with Catgirl. I wish they would. I wish he would. Right, well, we don't need to worry about the Navy just yet, nor really the Air Force, as most of this is for later usage. But we do need to worry about our production, so we've got to assign our steel factories. As now your ability to produce metal comes primarily from, well, using your steel mills to produce metal. If you don't have steel mills, well, you don't get to produce any steel. Simple as, really. We're still going to have a decent little deficit in most things, but that's going to be quite useful. We also need to set our occupation policies. Let's see here. As Korea is still occupied, local police force will probably be enough over there. And this goddamn little area, that's going to need secret police at the very least to try and keep the Manchukuoans under control. Not that they're going to be under control, but I'm sure our puppet government will eventually manage to subdue them, if given enough time and space. Speaking of subject governments, Manchukuo has a fair bit of iron for us to get, and tungsten, which we don't actually need at the moment, and absolutely nothing else. Actually, you know what? I'll take the food. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Civilian factories, they also introduce a sub-engine system here. If you don't have engine factories, you're not going to be able to produce tanks, you're not going to be able to produce trucks, you're not going to be able to produce aircraft because you're not going to be making any goddamn engines. Same for aircraft body assemblies. So even if you have the military factories, that might not be enough to actually, you know, keep stuff up and running. Alright. A good load of civilian factories will be our first priority. Some power plants, a couple of fuel silos won't go amiss, and we'll queue up some recruitment centers in case we get the opportunity to actually build those. Gray says, welcome to map painting game. Hopefully game will not break, nya. Also, Hi-Fi Rush stream fund, even if I have to fund it alone. It seems like you might be forced to. Alright, very well. I'll add that to the list as well. Thank you very much, sir. Hopefully you'll enjoy the music I managed to pick out for this too. I tried to find something a bit more area-specific, but or era-specific, but it turns out 1940s and 1930s music is pretty rare, particularly something that sounds decent and isn't already copyrighted to hell and back, so, You know, we've entered into a bit of an interesting period now where copyright kinda matters, and it kinda simultaneously doesn't matter at all. See, back in the day, incidentally, the research tree has also been reworked a little bit to the point where it's now bound up to certain things, so you only have certain slots, and you also have limits on what you can and cannot produce. So the Japanese tanks are never going to be as good as the German tanks at any point, if Germany puts enough research and stuff into it, of course, which I think is a pretty good change, because whilst theoretically, if you're playing Basic Hearts of Iron, you're basically playing a alternative history simulator, then sure, you know, you can have really great Japanese tanks, but as Black Ice is first and foremost one based on a bit more of the, you know, real-life history of events, the Japanese should always have shit tanks, because the Japanese had shit tanks. Really, really, really goddamn shit tanks. Burnson, planning a Comfort Woman Academy in Nanking? Well, you know it. We will be waffling on a fair bit about random historical things as well, because this is, of course, a subject that I am a bit passionate about. And the Japanese are a funny topic in history, because they were kind of retarded, if I'm to be entirely honest. Most of this is completely and utterly gosh darn useless. Ancient-ass, outdated piece of shit cruisers will not benefit anyone. Although I am pretty sure the Okonoshima class is a mine layer. Yes, indeed. You know what? Those I actually do need. You can be deployed from, what, is that Kure? No. Hokidoki. Okay, well, Hokidoki, that's a name. The cruisers, yet more useless shit. They're not bad. The Torna and the Mogami weren't terrible classes of cruisers, but they weren't good either. I kind of want to complete the Kongo just because Kongo Desune, but we're going to get some better Kongos as well. The carriers, however, the carriers we will produce. The Suiho and the Soryu are not great carrier designs, but carriers. Right, we're gonna need a little bit of civilian trains. The Type 89B tank chassis, the Igo Otsu, is not a good tank. No one will ever accuse it of being such, but it is the best we've got at the moment. Carrier close air support, useless. Carrier bombers, useless. Navy bombers, useful. Carrier fighters, useful. Army close air support, useless. Army light fighters, useless. Horse transport, yes, we're gonna need a lot of that. Type 95 Hago, the sort of kind of in a way light tank, but not really, useless. The Tankette, God help me, useless. I mean, hell, even the Japanese at this point have pretty much realized that, yeah, Tankette's bad goddamn idea. Amphibious warfare equipment, we're gonna need a little bit more of that. We're gonna need a lot of trucks. I would love to put some more into support equipment. But really, first and foremost, we are going to need rifles and uniforms. Those are pretty much going to be inescapably important. Artillery, one more Superman, maybe two more, can I? Maybe? Possibly. And more rifles, as we are going to need quite a bit of infantry. Ah, the poor Kongus. I really do wish you could actually, like, do proper, like... Because the thing is, the Kongo-class battleship wasn't made in Japan. It was made in Britain, which is why Konku-chan has an adorable English-Japanese accent, you know? Desune, which is fantastic. But sadly, that isn't really functional in-game, so screw that. Speaking of, we're really going to need to prepare to screw the Soviets, as well as they are going to try and screw me rather aggressively. I swear to God there was a way of doing this back in the day where you didn't need to do it this retardedly, but oh well. Half of you go there, half of you go there. A bit of a reorganization there. What are you doing? Oh, you're reorganizing to the naval yard. That's fine. Right, what else do we need to do? Ah, yes, we do need to change our... we need to send up this. Where to begin? Where to begin? Wonderful question. Anti-partisan. That's going to give me a lot of free dockyards, and that's fine. Ah, God, I wish Manchukuo was worth something. I really do. Right, we're going to need rubber. Yeah, Siam. We're going to need aluminium. Is that what you're producing aluminium? Okay, fine. Well, French Republic, then. 16. One might do it. I wish this would update a little bit more rapidly, as you can't really know what you're getting until you do a little bit of playtime. Minus 69. Okay, so... yeah, Manchukuo is not able to deliver quite what they promised, so we'll adjust that a little bit. With iron imports from America. Seize Shangpei finished. Good enough for government work, and reinforce the Soviet borders. Next swordsman, if you're going to LARP as Japan, you have to embrace bad and silly ideas. You kind of have to, yes, to a certain degree. So the Japanese were of course quarreling quite a bit with the Soviets during this particular period. A lot with the Soviets, actually. As both of them were quite convinced that they owned parts of Manchukuo. And neither could really agree that the other owned any part of it, which is, you know, parts of the problem there. Right, you're all going to starve if you stay in that spot, so do scatter out a little bit. That should leave 2 divisions there, yep, lovely. Alright, that gives me enough economic power as well to almost finish my early game checklist, and that is to change my protectionist economic stance to an autarky economy. That is going to make it a lot easier to get the resources I want. There you go. Yes, indeed. Alright, that's going to give me back a lot of my civilian factories. Beautiful. Fantastic. This is, of course, after the Sino-Russian War, where Japan invaded from Korea after the two were quarreling over who should own Korea. That turned out to be Japan. And the Koreans, well, the Koreans were never actually asked whether or not they should be allowed to own Korea. And Manchukuo, which was then a part of China, but really more a part of the Russians, honestly, because the Russians were even laying railroads through it, and had basically just taken it from the Chinese at that point. But the Russo-Japanese War was a wonderful example of absolute and complete Russian incompetence, and thus the outnumbered, out-teched, and out-equipped Japanese somehow managed to pull off a victory, even though nobody really understood how the fuck they managed to do it. And then there's the London Naval Treaty, which I want absolutely nothing to do with whatsoever. Nor does Italy. Why? Because it was blatantly fucking unfair. That was why. So, no. Let's... Oh, and here comes the Soviets, indeed. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics threatens our border. Early yesterday, Soviet soldiers were spotted crossing the border from Vladivostok into Hamgyong during the night. More Soviet forces have poured into the area and set up defensive positions inside our territory. This follows a series of minor skirmishes and border violations by forces under the command of Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin, all along our shared border. This time, however, it is clear that the Soviet forces are here to stay. We must send forces into the region as soon as possible to check their advance. This is going to keep happening for a while. I'm just kind of, let's see, the reinforced Soviet border thing did indeed activate. Lovely, 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 right? Hirohito will be next on the list there. And we are now going to do a little bit of a counter-invasion, because it's obviously not acceptable when they do it, but it is acceptable when we do it, of course. Let's see, 2 cavalry units. That's a 50-50 right there. And over here, the Soviets unfortunately have tanks, something that we have yet to learn a whole lot about, and so this too is going to be a little bit of a 50-50. The early border skirmishes are, however, great for earning a bit of army experience in the early game, which is absolutely adorable. Burnson, planning a comfort woman academy knocking. Didn't read that one, but yes, we are. A Korean women, incidentally. So the story of the comfort women is one of the darker parts of World War II history in the East, as the Japanese created rolling brothels, essentially, like moving brothels, where they would have vast quantities of women from the occupied areas, often Korean women, because those were the territories that had been occupied the longest, and thus the ones that had been preyed upon the longest. And they would move along with the army to provide comfort women to the troops. Now, comfort women's were hardly a uniquely... Yay, okay, we managed to beat them up over there. That'll give us a bunch of bonuses, including land doctrine research, which is really, really, really great, actually. And an assload of army experience. These would follow the army extraordinarily unwillingly, mind you. It's not like the Japanese went to Korean villages and went like, hey, career opportunities, be a prostitute today, support your local imperial infantryman. No. Now, they went to the houses and they requisitioned individuals of the female kind to come along with them and entertain the Japanese soldiers in less than humane conditions. The February 26th incident, where a bunch of young army officers attempted a coup in Tenno Heika's name. We are going to purge them, because not purging them is frankly kind of retarded. You shouldn't let young officers just run amok with everything. It's just not a very good idea. Ah, I forgot a thing, didn't I? Yes, I did. I've got to start producing 37mm anti-tank guns. Otherwise, the whole border conflict with the Soviet Union is going to suck really, really, really hard. God help me. Already industrial capacity is going to be an issue, isn't it? Yes, it is. Where exactly can we steal this from? We'll pull back 2 on the horse transports. Maybe 1 there. I don't like it, but... 3 there. I don't like that either, but... Such is life when you're the Imperium of Japan. Italy takes Addis Ababa already. Not bad, Italy. The little war in South Africa can turn into quite the quagmire. In fact, Italy had a hard time winning that conflict initially, and in fact, they lost the first conflict against, was it Ethiopia? I do believe Italy is actually the only nation in history, the only European nation in history to lose a war to an African nation, which is an achievement. Right, I'm not sure about our chances over here, I'll admit. This is not going swimmingly at the moment. I really don't want to this early, but I'm going to throw in a last stand there. It's going to cost me a bit of equipment, but I really don't want to lose a border skirmish right off the bat, if at all possible. And whether or not you lose this is basically going to come down to if my little tards can reinforce quickly enough. Australia rejects suggestions of returning German colonies. That is incredibly vile and bigoted. Just because the Germans started the First World War doesn't mean that they're going to kick off another one. Jesus. Oh. Well, but, you know, in theory, it doesn't mean that they're going to kick off the next one, alright? Shaanxi border conflict, we are definitely going to start that up. Field artillery, electronic nonsense. Good. Prioritize steel for guns to begin with. Ah, yes, the inter-service rivalry. That will probably be a topic of frequent discussion throughout this video and this series. Mr. Fancy says, hey Arch, have you ever done a video on Cypher's Kane? If not, why not? Because I'd have to reread like 7 books to do so. But no, I haven't. I'm sure I'll do so eventually. Maybe. McCall11, I'm here for this. Nya, make it nya nya nya. Nya 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 nya. Desu nya. We're going to exterminate the Chinese nya. That was in jest, YouTube. Calm down. I'm joking. But I am going to attack China. You know, not me personally, but, you know, Japan. Sujad says, it's not China, it's mainland Taiwan. Well, if you look down here, you'll see that Taiwan's just happened to be Japanese as well. And soon there will be a lot more Japan in the world, yes. Okay, what did you finish up? You finished that up, which means we're going to move on to mechanical computing, because we are in the actual unironic Stone Age at the moment. 15 centimeter howitzers, and we'll upgrade that. Right, everything else is actually looking pretty okay. Alright, it looks like we might be able to pull a bit of a miracle out here, so long as the Soviets stop throwing shit at me, hopefully. Alright, first spying academy is done. We only need one anti-partisan for the moment, so moving on to the operations department. Spies are going to be pretty important here for China. Oh. Just some horse fuckers left. Alright, come on, lads, you can see off the Vortian Brigade, no? Oh well. Many fine little Japanese lads are gonna have to die today, but such is life. And death. Tom Sepinen. Speaking of Cypher's Kane, did you read his latest novel with Traitor Mechanicus? I did not. I did hear that Sandy Mitchell was back to writing Cypher's Kane, which I'm very interested in checking out, but I have not seen it yet, no. Part is the Russians are of course bringing a tremendous amount of armored cars, which reduces my damage by like a quarter. This is pretty awful. It's not as awful as it used to be. Like the armored bonus used to be goddamn crippling, like straight up unironically crippling. These days it's merely extraordinarily disadvantageous, which is, you know, a step up everything considered. Alright, we shall focus on people's problems to try and get our stability a little bit back up, and the border conflict ran out of time. Fantastic. Another victory for the stalwart boys of the Imperium of Japan, and an absolute shitload of early army experience. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Right, we are going to need to rework some of our divisions because they're awful. The Japanese ascribe to the, hey, let's just throw lots of infantrymen at the enemy and see what happens strategy. It's a bad strategy. They also elected to not give their troops any sort of anti-tank weaponry, which I also strongly object to, incidentally.
Service guarantees citizenship.
The Jidosha Shiran, which literally just means the motorized group, is going to be a bit of a core of my army. And the Riku Sentai, which is immediately going to be given a medium tank unit. Because that makes them a hell of a lot tougher and a hell of a lot more effective. Now the Jidosha, the mobile group, is going to cost an absolute arm and a fucking leg to reorganize because they're all semi-motorized infantry. And anyone who knows what they're talking about is going to tell you that semi-motorized infantry is just worse than not even having motorized infantry in the fucking first place, honestly. As they still cost you an arm and a leg in terms of motorized equipment, but they suck and they're slow to boot. So yes, God fuck them most thoroughly, and a unit of armored cars, which just put me at combat with 26, which is not ideal. Can I I can, but I can't afford it. Oh, fantastic. Alright, well, hopefully we'll remember to move that one before we need to worry about it. Okay, if memory serves, I am now going to need 13 divisions of rifles. Actually, do I? How many rifle divisions do I actually have at the moment? Ignoring the retarded nonsense. God, I wish it would just tell me. That would be a little bit too easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay. It's not too bad a number, actually. Let's make 12. And I'm also going to need a light infantry division after this as well, but we'll worry about that later. First, we're going to make another 9 divisions of militia, or minpe, as they would be more accurately called. And that is going to pretty much ruin my supply situation, I imagine. Yeah, more or less. Indeed. We'll keep the stupid little tanks up there for now, but I am going to disband one of these, giving me 8 units of cavalry. The cavalry are actually sort of, pseudo, kind of, in a way, useful in China. Not very, but they work. And research. Right, what do we actually need? I'm not going to waste a 40% research on that. Nor are we going to be building the ginormous battleship, because the ginormous battleships are actually retarded. You know, ironically, the Japanese might actually have won in the Pacific if they'd gone with their initial plan, which was to lure the American Navy out of Pearl Harbor for a final confrontation off the coast of the Philippines. The Americans had no goddamn clue that the Japanese had managed to finish 2 Yamato-class battleships, the Yamato and the Musashi. And I honestly imagine that the ancient-ass Arizonas would have done very, very poorly in a straight-up gunnery duel with a couple of Yamatos. So yeah, the Japanese kind of screwed themselves in that regard by doing that whole, surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, which meant that the Americans didn't actually have a whole lot of battleships to sortie anymore. Oh well. See, that was the American plan too. For the most part, the American plan was literally to sortie from Honolulu, from Hawaii, or Pearl Harbor more correctly, and sail all the way over here, and then help out the Philippines. And, what was it? MacArthur? MacArthur in the Philippines. And the Japanese plan was to harry them all the way, a long way, with torpedo attacks from destroyers and submarines and whatever else they could get their hands on, really. And hopefully, if they got very, very lucky, sink something. Unlikely, honestly. The torpedo tactics didn't really prove out to be all that effective, but who knows, they could have gotten lucky. And then engage in a final battle off the coast of the Philippines, with the carriers in support and hopefully some land-based aircraft as well, possibly from Palau, for example. And the Americans probably would have lost. See, the Americans had a little bit of a habit during the war with the Japanese, where most of the time they would actually lose the initial engagement with the Japanese. This was demonstrated multiple times with the destroyers, for example. Most often, the American destroyers would actually get outfought by the Japanese destroyers, because the Japanese destroyers had spent a hell of a lot more time practicing for destroyer versus destroyer combat. But every time the Japanese would go, oh, where that worked, and they'd try to do it again. And the Americans would learn from their mistakes, unlike the Japanese, and change their tactics and beat the shit out of the Japanese in round 2. And this kept happening throughout the entire fucking conflict, as the Japanese steadfastly refused to learn any lessons whatsoever. It was in a way kind of impressive, really, when you come to think of it. Like, if you're beaten over the head for literally years at a time, at some point you'd think that the message would sink in, but you would be wrong. Astoundingly so. Alright, I'm of 2 minds about actually bothering developing this stuff, because I'm not actually going to get that much out of it. Like, it's barely going to save me a civilian factory, if that. A military parade in Tokyo? Why not? I should actually save it for naval experience, but that's fine. See, Let's go penguins and stop ramming planes into ship. No. The kamikaze was actually a pretty goddamn good idea. It unironically was, because here's the thing. If you can sink a warship, even just a destroyer, in trade for a fighter plane, oh god, that is an amazing trade. That is an absolutely incredibly good trade. One is really cheap and can be produced in significant numbers. The other is ludicrously expensive. And even America could only produce, a few hundred a year, because it's fucking America. But still, the point stands. I mean, hell, I don't think the, what is it? The Japanese, I think, produced something like 12 or a couple dozen new destroyers over the course of the entire war. Meanwhile, the Americans were shitting out Simsers on a fucking conveyor belt, practically. Not to mention the Liberty ships, oh god. See, before the war, the the Germans were thinking like, oh hey, we almost managed to choke out Britain in the last war, right? By cutting their supply lines over the sea. Let's try that again with U-Booten. And then the Americans were like, that's cute, but can you make 5,000 of those? And Jim's like, no. Well, we can make 5,000 transport ships a month. Oh, not quite that bad. But yeah, no, the Liberty ships, holy crap. It was one of the first true cases of like part-wise construction where they would make individual pieces of the ship and then weld it together, and it increased the production speed by a ridiculous margin. It made for ships that didn't last quite as well as, the more purpose-built ones, but who cared? It was for the war effort anyway, so yeah. Honduras withdraws from the League of Nations. Well, shit, isn't that terrible? Oh, hey, claimants agreeing with each other. That is worrying indeed. Whenever Germany starts going like, we agree, you should probably start building a bomb shelter again. Ah, yes. The Spanish Civil War, also known as the It's Time to Whore Out some military experience conflict. Homa Masaharu, you're going to Spain. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, and don't ask me what your objectives are, because frankly, they're not going to be a whole lot. Where the hell was the go to Spain button? Ah, there we go. There's the go to Spain button. Right. Sayonara, sir. And no, we won't be sending you any air support because I can't afford it. So, you better duck when the swarms of Soviet aircraft start whizzing overhead. It's not going to be my problem now, is it? Right, we've got our first research slot. It's time to found our beautiful little faction. The research slots are very, 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 very important, because without them, we're going to pretty much be stuck at producing stuff with literal hammers and gaffer tape for all eternity, and that's just not going to be a very effective way of winning a world war. Is there anything else I need to be doing? No? I mean, I'm not starving. I'm fuel starved, but that is just a part of being Japan, and it's a part of Japan that you're gonna just have to get used to, frankly. The Olympiad, who cares? Right, what next? I'm tempted by the Manchuria project, honestly, because making Manchuria actually somewhat useful is not a terrible idea, but it doesn't make them very useful, so we shall start guiding the Zaibatsus instead. Minister for Agriculture, please encourage our little Japanese boys to smash their genitalia together as vociferously and aggressively as humanly possible, and thus increase the quantity of little Japanese soldier to be fed into the meat grinder of China. Also, I saw that, AI. You seem to have moved some dudes away from your border. I consider that to be an invitation. Embargo the British Raj. Nah. Alright, infantry divisions, that's a little bit dodgy, but our incredibly basic bitch tank divisions might be able to pull, yeah, nope. Yeah. Oh well. It was worth an effort, I suppose. Worth a shot. Hopefully we'll win the second one. Alright, 2 slots now. What am I going to use the second for? Probably more construction tech, once I've got 30% ahead of time. Yes, Captain Lagbeard. The Japanese invaded China originally for resources. That and because they considered the Chinese to be subhuman. Again, YouTube, not me, video game, or history, more correctly. And so they figured that the Chinese would be pretty damn easy to defeat. In fact, they figured they could overrun China nice and quickly. It turns out that the Chinese were actually pretty stubborn people and didn't want to be overrun. Not quickly, not slowly, not ever at all. And then, because here's the most retarded part of all, you see, in a point of absolute retardation, the Navy decided that the army was gaining too much prominence because the war in China was, well, causing Japan to pour a lot of resources into further increasing its army because, you know, it is fighting a land war in China. You kind of need it. And the Japanese Navy, becoming jealous of the increasing resources of the army, decided to come up with a plan to invade America. Or, more correctly, declare war on the Allies. And, yeah, it turns out that willingly declaring a war on the United States of America, when you're already locked in a massive and unending land war in China, it's actually a really fucking bad idea. I know. Difficult to fully understand just how bad an idea it was, but take Japan's word for it, it's actually pretty stupid. Northeastern Army, yes. Peru, please embargo the Chinese. Not like it's going to matter much, but hey. Speaking of, has that unlocked yet? It has not. Right, whilst we're at it, the Jidosha Shidan, I was going to take out a pack artillery, and there we go. I'd also like to duplicate this, give it a new icon. Let's see, what says light infantry? Well, close enough. Karui, light infantry division. And by light, I mean we're going to remove 3 little of these, what are they, brigades, regiments? Oh, things anyways. That gives me combat width of 19, remove a pack artillery, 17.5. That's a little narrow. And prefer if I could make it 1 point wider, but that's going to have to be good enough for the time being. And 10 units. Okay, fair enough. We'll queue up 2 of those. That'll give me the meat I'll eventually need to deal with China. How are you doing? I hope you win this one. Not looking amazing. Well. On the bright side, the longer our little retarded conflicts drag out, the longer I'll have to squeeze out army experience. So that's not a bad thing, is it? Now, the Japanese did actually beat the shit out of the Chinese initially. They beat the absolute living shit out of them. But China was large. I know. It's one of those realizations that all conquering armies seems to make just a little bit too goddamn late. Same with the Germans as well. When they invaded Russia, they were like, oh, we'll beat Russia pretty quick. It'll be a swift little sojourn over to our neighbor, right straight to Moscow, and voila, Bob's your uncle. Russia large too. And so whilst the Japanese managed to secure the cities, most of the cities anyways, eventually I believe they cut off all of the Chinese access to the port cities, so all of their access to the ocean. The remaining 98% of China didn't surrender. much to the Japanese shock and surprise. Though, right, not to take too much of the piss out of the poor Japanese, that was actually rather unusual. Ooh, oh, I don't like that. Oh, this could end very poorly very soon. Yep. Yeah, because both of the goddamn units were at the exact same break limit. And so when the one unit broke, both units broke, which gave me a defeat that I probably should have won. Dice luck. Oh, well. Annoying, but not the worst thing in the universe. Alright, grant draft exemptions. That's going to give me some civilian factories, and also, quite crucially, is going to be giving me the ability to produce things a little bit better. Let's expand the Zaibatsus. And then Kuruma. Kuruma, which means car, which was the Toyota, the initial thing. Basically, Japan's answer to the Volkswagen. Right, Jidosha. So I'm going to try and convert these two, because I do believe, yep, they've already got some motorized elements in them. So that'll reduce the overall cost at least a little bit, even if not much. If I were to try to make a Jidosha by now, I would have how much? Transport trucks, 72 out of 755. Maybe not. 12. Yeah, let's not worry about that just yet. The Zaibatsu will have to be my production arm. Whilst we kick up the production of anti-tank guns and everything else required to keep our army running. The aim is to get into war with China relatively early, but there is some base production requirements that are going to need to be met before that time, and they're not necessarily that easy to meet. See, getting rid of garrison maintenance equipment might seem like a good way to cut some corners and some cost savings early on. It isn't. It really, 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 really isn't. You are going to need a lot of garrison equipment in China. A whole heck of a lot. Right. Is it the industrial belt, or is it the... It's industrial belt first. Jidosha means car, yes. It also means... It means larger car, I think. Like, more like truck. Whereas Kuruma means like more car, as in personnel car, I think. The Japanese language is frequently retarded. Is there any opportunity for me to maybe earn a little bit of army equipment, army experience over here? Because that'd be kind of cute, honestly, I can't lie. Kawasaki. That's the 600 belt. Yep, so we'll wait for that. The Anti-Comintern Pact. Yes, why not? I don't like communism. You don't like communism. Frankly, we should be the best of friends. It's going to drag me into some complicated conflicts in the future, but hey. That's fine. More spies. I should be saving up for that one. Right, 3 spies. That will give me the bare bone basics to start and expand into nationalist China. Toyota, reliably kawaii. Yes, yes, chat. That would actually be a fantastic advertisement for Toyota. Unironically, it probably would be. Toyota, reliably kawaii. Buy Toyota. Kawaii desu ne. Seriously. They should. They actually should. They should just start advertising cars and everything else with just cute anime girls and cute anime girl slogans. Your favorite VTuber drives Toyota. You too can be VTuber with Toyota. Toyota. The VTuber brand. Granted, that will probably reduce their sales in other areas quite severely as well, but oh well. Is any of this useful? Sorta. I am not expecting my little retarded rifle divisions to do much over here in Spain. In fact, I am not expecting them to do pretty much anything except whore me some more army experience. That is pretty much the limits of their capabilities as the... I don't know why there's a Norwegian flag there, but Trotsky escapes. Rationing. Everybody loves rationing, of course. And that gives me the industrial concern, which is 10% increased speed to researching all industrial technology, which is very useful for a country like Japan, whose understanding of industrial technology pretty much extends to hitting things with hammers. Alright, once the depth charge thrower is done... Speaking of done, do I have enough? I do. Increase operatives. We're not going to provide economic support to the nationalists because I don't really care if the nationalists win or lose. Ow. An early teaser as to what it's going to feel like to throw my dudes against the massive mountains of China for a few hundred years. We'll see if we can't find something that's a little bit softer to throw our dudes against. Going to need to mass-produce escorts in the not-too-distant future as well, as you're going to need a lot of escorts in the war against the Americans, as the Americans are quite cruel, conniving, and massive shitheads, frankly, in most regards. So John says, if you can keep the Jews away from China, the CCP may never form. Ooh, spicy. Who knows? I don't know if I'll be able to check the sewers, though. I love the fact that 2024 started with the fact that sewer Jews were real. Just... I wonder how long it's going to be until YouTube starts cracking down on that. Like, no, you don't get to say that there were Jews in the sewers. Holds up picture. But, Daddy YouTube, evidence. Oh, God. Oh. I hope this becomes a conspiracy theory in 10 years from now or something. You know, there'll be people making videos going like, no, seriously, this happened, guys. Look, I dug up some ancient video footage from 2024. Look. It's like, that's obviously doctored. Haven't you followed the great video purge of 2024 where we declared everything to be fake news? Well... Fuel refining? Yeah, fuel refining. Already I'm feeling the fuel begin to pinch violently and stingingly around my nuts.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Right, expand the Mitsubishi Saibatsu. Larger Mitsubishis, largest. The floors be speaking Yiddish, yo. Ooh, well. I was about to say, hey, an accidental surround. Well, it was so accidental that it didn't last for very long. Ah, poor little Hohedan. What use are you in this great wide world of ours? See, I don't really want to go over there, because I've got this sneaking suspicion that my Spanish allies will immediately abandon me and leave my little Japanese people to die. You know what? Yes. He who lives to run away lives to Jap another day. More artillery. Ah, Type 99 air sights. Yes, the Japanese early war air system is literally... is literally a rifle sight. Like, how do we deal with enemy aircraft? You shoot them with your rifle. But, sir, that's retarded. But is it? But is it? Ah. Well, here comes the Soviets again. Right, how are my odds up here today? Tank unit? I don't know about that. I don't really know if I want to throw the dice anymore. It might be 1 unit, though. Alright, fine. Have a fucking go. It is 2 units, but if I can maybe wear away the first one enough, and I should be able to actually... Yes, I can actually penetrate most of their armor now. And we chase them off in Vladivostok nice and quick. Lovely. Okay.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Looks a bit more on my side today, I like it. Like, well, 11, sewer juice. Sewer juice? Yeah. That's not funny, and shame on you. Oh, 2024 is going to be such a fucking ride. I shouldn't start on the bomber just yet. No. We'll continue on the diesel power electric engines. What were you doing? Were you making construction things? You were probably making construction things, weren't you? Should start civilian works then. Oh, God, forgot about that. Expand Mitsubitsu Saibatsu, and then we're going to need to start getting ready for... Ah, goddammit, they're going to be able to sneak in just enough shit to beat me. Maybe. Oh, God, it's going to be fucking close. Yeah. Border conflicts, where you have no fucking control over anything that happens whatsoever, and you kind of just gotta pray that the enemy doesn't randomly walk some more units by you. A fun and engaging addition to the often stale early game of Company of Heroes. Oh, that's fine, 1 and 2. Might as well. Alright, and we can prepare that to bank away a few of them.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Later on. Let's see, how is my production going? Okay. The new rifle formation is actually just about done. That's pretty good. The militia units are looking up as
Fire
well.
is the answer.
Where's the other militia unit? There it is. Alright, production is going okay. Right. Do we... Yagi antenna... It's going to be like another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That's a long time. Now, we'll begin preparations for Gekudyo. Yes, Gekudyo. Let's queue up like 4 more military factories. And I've got to make those air bases now. Gonna need air bases in China. Quite a lot of air bases in China. Luckily, air bases are really quick to build. Right, you lads, go over there. And... there we go. Boop. Begin preparing that as well. Stephen Motta says, Doc Savage did it with a Tommy gun. Sadly, the Japanese don't have Tommy guns, which is tragic. Right, also time to start gathering up the Navy as we're getting ready to kick off the war in China. All of you go over there. And aircraft as well. Is that everything I got? Yeah, more or less. Right, 153. I think... yeah, I'll get Supreme Commander through another thing, so I don't need to worry about that. Let's just get the Postmaster General to decrease my supply usage, which is going to be very, very important in China. Allow me to reassure you on that matter. 474 little Japanese trucky-wuckies are done. That's almost certainly enough to get one of you little shits motorized. Useful, frankly. Useless, but I do need to get it at some point. those things and adds in the most new cool little mechanics and items and all manners of niceties. It is the best mod. Oh, God, my org is rising exceptionally slowly over here, isn't it? Go over there instead. Let's find somewhere else to engage in warfare. Right. 4 spies. Lovely. I do believe
I have lost.
we've got that now. Air Force Department, Army Department, all of that shit. And let's begin infiltrating the administration. Now that we've got a couple of guys, that'll hopefully allow me to save anybody who gets captured. With that, I also believe we can start researching the Type 97 chassis to get the next type of tank on the way, too. Still lacking some support equipment, still lacking a little bit of everything, but that is entirely normal. Inspector General of Military Education. Well, that does sound pretty cute. Let's do that. And with that, we've got Prince Kain Korahito. We just need a Supreme Commander now, which will probably be Yamamoto. Having a Kaigun officer in charge of the army is a little bit silly in many ways. Especially as the Japanese really didn't do that, but, you know. Out of a series of bad options, he is the least awful one. Navy organization and supply consumption. Yep, Izoroku Yamamoto, it's gonna be. 1% supply consumption is not a lot. Not by any stretch of the imagination, of course, but you'd be surprised how useful not a lot can be in China. There we go. Tour de France. With the Rattler Sabres, trade will increase. Good. And one more operative. Seducer is always the best trait, of course. I wish they had a nice little pop-up when they figured, when they finished that nonsense individually. So that you could actually know. Because all that happens, there's this slight sound in the background of, like, burning paper. And that's it. That's all you get. To be like, hey, we've finished this operation thingy. Would you like to give us new orders? I don't know. Do I? You're trained. Good. Right. Time to do a little bit of organization. Alright, did you already send off your aircraft? Yes, you did. Good. Okay, did I build the air bases? I did. Right, 100 there, 100 there. There's also been some changes to the way air power works, in that you kind of gotta be in range now. So even if you're, capable of getting within the same circle, that's not necessarily enough anymore. You actually do have to be able to reach your target. Otherwise, the bombing is not going to have a whole lot of effect, if indeed any, which is a good change in that it makes a lot more sense than the old system, which is nice. But it's also a bad change in that Paradox's system remains absolutely retarded and, frankly, not really fit for purpose, if I'm to be entirely honest. Alright, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. Dual-purpose guns. Okay, I would really now like to increase my production of fighters and bombers. Even though that is going to be easier said than done. Is there anything I can cannibalize to achieve that? Not the trucks. I definitely can't do the trucks. I can do the rifles. I've already got enough rifles. And we're on the way to meeting the needs for light anti-tank guns. So we can cannibalize that as well. Which gets it as a decent way on the way. I'd rather not cannibalize the uniforms, but I'm kinda gonna have to. Okay, and we're gonna move you to the top of the priority list, as air power is pretty damn important in China, as again, China large. 2 more there, 2 more there, 2 more there. In fact, I wish this system was a bit easier to work with. Next swordsman. Stream is dropping. Big pain in Nippon speak. Stream is dropping, is it? Let me check. It looks fine on my end. You might want to refresh it, because as far as I can see... Yep. Yeah, it looks good on my end, so it's probably yours. Try to reload the stream. Otherwise, it's probably YouTube, in which case, there ain't shit neither I, you, or any other mortal soul can do about it, I'm afraid. It's not the nicest thing to hear, I know, but it is nevertheless the truth. And you go over there, and we will need a small fleet to deal with the, 5 ships that China actually does possess. Submarines, relocate those over there. And it's going to rely on our heavy cruisers, which we do have some decent number of. Do I have any more 3s? No? Okay, well. Myoso, Myoko, and Furata class will have to do then. 5 of those should be more than enough to deal with pretty much anything the Chinese are likely to throw at my ass. Toss in 9 destroyers just for a little bit of screen. And there is our very, very basic interception fleet. As you really don't need much to deal with China. And then that will be the actual screen fleet. Alright. Where exactly did you get a hold of that then? Oh, did I not select you? Oh, tards. Come over here. That's not where you're supposed to be. Alright. Carriers over there. I was wondering why I had so few bombardment vessels. There's where the rest of the Takao classes were. I was wondering. I was pretty sure I had more level or 4-tier ships than that. Alright, let's waste some more fuel by driving these back and forth for a little bit. There you go. Not like fuel is a precious resource in the Empire of Japan or anything. No, no, no. Of course not. That would be silly. Alright, submarines. You go over there. And that's 20 destroyers. That's way more destroyers than I am ever going to need dealing with China. But with an abundance of caution... There you go.
Service guarantees citizenship.
That is going to be more than enough for a striking fleet. In fact, it's going to be kind of... Wait. Oh, God. How did... Help me. The organizational system is not made easier by the existence of the stupid dog. Okay. Make all of these things one thing, please. So that I may organize them. For some reason or another, the creators of the mod decided that you should only be allowed to have like 3 naval commanders, and then you need to make a new theater. Thus they added in the dumb dog. I vociferously disagree with this idea, as I find the system to already be difficult and ham-fisted to deal with, and the addition of another UI element intended purely to obfuscate the UI does not aid me in this process of figuring out the batshit stupid goddamn paradox system in the slightest. There, 4 spotting fleets, 1 strike fleet. There you are, much better. Shadow Turtle Yin Yang, 3,000 isks. Thank you very much, sir. Are you looking forward to any of the upcoming RTSs? Oh, and Cantata. Oh, that's the crazy-looking one. Is out. I see you had your eye on that game. P.S. Please play Beyond Good and Evil. I don't know about that. Strategy games right now. I don't know. Honestly, I'd have to look at the list of upcoming strategy games and remind myself, because nothing necessarily leaps to mind, honestly. I'll do the Mitsubishi one because I'm going to need a little bit more time to organize everything. Alright, armies. I am going to need to leave quite a lot to deal with the Soviets. That is very unfortunate, but it's also the truth, tragically. But I don't need to attack the Soviets, of course, so I can absolutely get rid of that. Alright, 5 infantry divisions. Actually, that's 1 too much. Alright, so the Japanese like naming things after locations. So this shall be the Kyushu-gun, I believe. Yes. Kyushu-gun. We're gonna put that under the army, which is... what was it? Nippon? Nippon. Teikoku Rikugun. Nippon Teikoku Rikugun. Right. And there is really only one person who can lead that, and that is the guy with all of the medals. So here we are immediately going to promote him. And speaking of, I did have enough for naval war games. Do that, because that way I won't have to burn an ass load of fuel getting ready for it. Right, make your way over there. We've got a second army over here, which we did deploy in the north. What's the northern? Tohoku? Tohoku-gun. 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 There we go. Right. Logistics. You're going to come back from Spain to do this. And speaking of the Military Academy of Advanced Warfare, plus 4 research speed. Now, School of Supply and Logistics is very tempting when you're going to go into Japan, but it doesn't actually decrease your supply usage. It increases supply grace by 6 hours, which is worthless. Absolutely worthless. And supply range by 5%, which isn't worthless, but it's not good either. And compared to a 4% flat research speed, oh yeah, there is absolutely no question whatsoever which one of these you should pick. Deathless Soldier, gifted 5 ArchCast memberships. Thank you very much, sir. Remember that you should thank him as well, chatties that received a membership. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, begin your transference and the... Right, the Mimpe. Mimpe Hombo. Right, these little tards. They really only winter specialist. The Japanese don't really have a lot of good defensive leaders, honestly. They really, really unironically don't. What about old gods? Ueda Kenkichi, eh? Alright, well... Kuniaki Koiso might be the one. Supply consumption minus 2%, though. It's not good, but it's not awful. Cavalry officer. God help me. I mean, these really aren't very good, but, it's gonna have to be Koiso, I think. Michael 11 says, Scott Pilgrim video done, yeah? Hi-Fi Rush next, yeah? I don't know if the Scott Pilgrim video will ever be done, entirely honestly. I just don't know what to say about it, frankly. Like, the most interesting thing is that it is absolutely an example of something that ate itself. Like, that is undoubtedly the most interesting aspect of Scott Pilgrim. The fact that it was an entity that managed to quite neatly devour itself. In that the creator of Scott Pilgrim actually ended up cancelling Scott Pilgrim by writing him out of the sequel, out of the anime, which is weird. It's like, you created this character, and yet you want to kill him off and write him out of the anime. Why? And the reason he stated was because, well, he'd be cancelled today. Like, okay, you've managed to write a character that was peak woke at the time, and yet today he would be cancelled. Interesting. Jidoshagun. Not that this is much of an army-sized formation, being, you know, just 2 divisions strong, but it's something, isn't it? Ah, right. I'm going to actually need to order some more aluminium, aren't I? Quite a lot of aluminium, too. I'm good on metal, actually. Is that gonna be enough? No, but with one more. Right, 6 civilian factories spent on that. Bit much, but it'll work. How's the light armies coming along? The light army's not actually that far from completion, which is quite nice. How far along am I on a 3rd fully fledged army? 6 divisions there, 1 division there. Is that all I've got? No, I've got 1 division up there and one of those retarded divisions up there. Delete that one immediately. Right, let me just check. See, what I found interesting too is that his argument for why Scott Pilgrim would be cancelled today was because Scott Pilgrim was a bad person. And it's like, yes, you can certainly argue that. You can absolutely argue that. In fact, you can definitely argue that. He was a bad person. But he wasn't that bad a person. Well, sure, he was a little bit of an asshole, no doubt. Let's do good enough for immediate time being, and that's probably going to require a bit of retraining, isn't it? No? Oh, nice. He did cheat on his girlfriend, absolutely. He did string along Knives True for a while, but even then he felt bad about it and was looking for a way to make it clear and break up correctly. Like, on the grand scale of assholishness, you know, Scott Pilgrim is definitely on the scale. He's definitely on the spectrum. But is he the worst character ever? Is he such a bad character that the only way to redeem him in a sequel is to kill his ass off? No. Jesus Christ, no. And yet, that is so bad now that he would be unacceptable to the modern audience. Did you? Yeah, you actually had to come over here, okay. Alright, let's begin preparing the border area just a little bit. Now, honestly, I'd prefer to have the light army ready before I start the invasion, but I also kind of don't want to spend that much more time either. Time is of the essence. The more time you use, the more time you give the filthy little Chinese to build up their own armies, and you don't really want to let them do that. But I found all of the divisions now. Yes, I think I do. We're probably just going to have to use the Minpe to act as a substitute for the light rifle divisions. Speaking of, that is not that far away from being researchable. Start out with the Mitsubishi Fighter. And we're maxed out. Okay. Negotera, are you keeping up with what's going on with some naval assets and a Middle Eastern country, Arch? Would be interesting to hear your thoughts on that. Oh, you mean the Houthis or whatever they are. The Hittites. The Hittites. The Hittites. Oh. Now there's a blast from the past. The Hittites. Well, I mean, they're just going to get bombed into oblivion. That's about it, really. If America really wants to... they're not going to be a threat to shipping lanes for long. And frankly, I thought we'd learned our lesson here. I honestly thought everybody had pretty much figured out whether we don't fuck with shipping lanes. I mean, I figured the Somali pirates had made that one pretty goddamn obvious, but apparently not. Like, literally, the Somali pirates, in their silly little wooden vessels, they're fucking motorboats, were like, look at us, we're going to attack traffic. And then destroyers, guided missile destroyers, started opening fire on them with computer-guided 127mm ammunition. Like blasting out, not even asking questions, not being like, hey, suspected vessel over there, stop. No, just like, target detected, 12 o'clock, initiate artillery bombardment. It stopped the threat really, really goddamn quick. And I figured, again, that everybody had pretty much learned their lesson from that, but no. Not indeed. Kaigun. Good enough. Ah, yes. The Rikusentai. Kaigun took... What was it all right? Kaigun Tokumatsu? No. Rikusentai Kaigun. No. Was Kaigun Tokumatsu Rikusentai Gun? Rikusentai? Tokumatsu Kai... I can never remember. Hold on. Now I need to Google this. SLF. The Special Navy Landing Forces of Japan. The Kaigun Tokumatsu Rikusentai. No, I got it right the first time. Why does it sound so wrong to my ears then? I really don't know. Oh well, they're correct, so fair enough. Mimpe, you can join in that, the secondary army, because it's less important. Which one of you tards? Nah, I don't want you to get wounded all that often, because that will actually be an unironic problem in the long term. And some more Russians are throwing themselves at me, which is fine. It is such a waste to keep divisions up here, but for some reason, the game fetches divisions from other commanders if you don't have 6 divisions up there, which is very annoying, but it's how the game works, so don't fight it, I guess. I should have Mitsubishi soon enough. Right, come on, boys, hurry up and exercise. Oh, the Type 97 is done. Nice. Alright, let's make that, whilst we also queue up the next one. The Japanese tanks are not a whole lot to write home about, but you can make something that resembles an armored vehicle with them, so long as you know, bear in mind all of the things you need to have. I don't have radios, of course, because, you know, I'm a savage. AA machine guns are utterly and completely useless. 7.7mm machine gun and 57mm close support gun, because I'm not expecting to be fighting a whole lot of armor in China, and coil springs. Twin gasoline engines, and we are focusing pretty much purely on speed. 9.66. That's not bad. Theoretically, I don't really necessarily need to focus on speed on these, because I could just keep them in the, Honestly, yes. Honestly, kind of yes. It would make them a fair bit cheaper. Oh god, help me. I don't have... Okay, well, I'll have 12 in a second, surely. Things, stuff, food. Yes, you can have food. That's fine. I have 12, though. Video game. Yanketh not my leash. Okay, well, fuck. I guess we'll have to remember that till next time. You done exercising yet? No, of course you're not. I think you stop exercising if you move, so just stay there and do your thing, I guess. Tool maintenance. Yeah, tool maintenance. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to pop one of those to get a little bit more stability before we kick this shit off too, honestly. Can yeah. It's a bit of a waste, but I'm really gonna need that supply, like, badly. I'm also gonna need that. But I really want to keep going on this. 72 days. Yeah, I'm gonna need that. I'm not gonna get around needing that, so might as well get started on it. September... Alright, we'll give it another month or so, and with that I can purchase the Mitsubishi. Does that? Yep, it applies itself automatically. Lovely. There is no bayonet mount on our tank, no. Actually, hold on there. You little tarts are still over here. Just throw yourself at the Spanish for a little bit. There you go, and that'll give me enough for the damn tank. And I'm minus 27 aluminium again. God help me. It might actually be cheaper just to import the aluminium at this point. Oh god, I forgot about that, didn't I? Yeah, I probably did. Alright, let's adjust that too, because that's gonna, yep, increase... my iron, which doesn't actually matter because I'm not importing any iron anyway, so yeah. Alright. More aluminium. I'm out of engine factories. I'm actually quite badly out of engine factories. Right, that's not a good thing at all. 1, 2, 3. Right, that needs to be a priority, because without engine factories, I'm not actually producing anything. Stupid little tankette, where are you? Where are you, little dumbass? Actually, the Type 97 wasn't actually that bad of a tank, okay? It wasn't. Yeah, sure, it had all of the hallmarks of a bad tank. It had riveted armor. It had the retarded little rearwards-facing machine gun. Yes, it had all of those things, but... Listen here. Comparatively speaking to everything else that it was running up against at the time, which was nothing, it was actually a pretty good tank, okay? It had a fair few things. It had a short barrel, I think 57 millimeter actually, gun, capable of shooting out HE, which was exactly what you needed, and a little bit of AP as well. You know, it wasn't that bad. It had an okay speed for what it was. I think like 30 kilometers per hour or something, which wasn't terrible at the time. It had adequate armor protection for coming up against Chinese people armed, you know, purely with rifles, again. And it did its job, okay? For its time, the Chiha wasn't terrible, okay? The only issue was that, of course, they didn't ever really manage to replace the Chiha with anything, and they pretty much just kept using the Chiha, long beyond the point where it was horrifically outdated. When this thing came up... Oh, God. See, in Europe, the Sherman is like, God, I am such a sad and tiny useless tank. Please, put me out of my misery, oh mighty Sherman, oh mighty... Sherman, oh Tiger, oh Panther, kill me, please. I am worthless. And yes, it was. But in the Pacific, oh, suddenly the Sherman was God. Suddenly, the Sherman was immune to anything and everything anyone could throw at it. Speaking of, we need to form raiding regiments, and The retarded spying system. God. Okay, we need prepared collaborative government. Hold on, what? Excuse me? Stop! Alright. Daizo Koshino, he's a seducer. Nami Hana, no, Junko Yamanai, Ochiya Hito, Junko, you can go. Right, and you are going to automatically repeat this for all eternity. You will never stop repeating this. This is all you're going to do over here. You are going to build collaborative government from now until victory. I'll buy ourselves another month. At this point, I could probably have done the other project, but it took me a lot longer to get ready than I fucking was hoping for. Yep. Aluminium production output will not be a bad idea right now, honestly. How many cars have I squirreled away? 349. Not enough, probably. Where are you, little tank brigade thingy? Where did I put you? That's where I put you. Okay, if you were to become one of these, I would have a deficit of 500 cars. Yep, let's not do that then. You done training? You are. Good. Come and zig here. Beta. Alright, my Jidosha army. My army of 2 divisions. And the stupid cavalry. Japan finds itself in the not particularly enviable position, Kiegun, of actually having cavalry. I know. Isn't that good? I'm sure Germany is deeply jealous. Right, you guys start exercising, and how many did I arrive at? So I've got 3 here, and I've got 2 over there. So I've got 5. All right. So that will complete another full army. And another 4 Rikusentai as well, and that will be the priority, obviously. And operations will also hold priority. And at the end of the list, we're going to have another full force of the light rifles. And that should be all the meat I'm going to need in China, hopefully. Dethan asks, have you heard of the Open Wick project? The Open Wick project? I have not. Let me Google it real quick. Open Victoria 2. Alright, I have actually heard of that, yes. Yeah, no, the Victoria 2 program. I'm hoping they'll be able to make something out of that, hopefully. I haven't seen much of it, mind you, so who knows. But if they can manage to update Victoria 2 and make it, you know, good and modern, or just even playable, as it does crash a lot. It crashes a absolute ridiculous lot. Then I will be very, very happy to play it, of course. That was the wrong commander, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Unassign you. Seawolf, and I mean, Yamamoto is really not going to be the right man for the job here, but it'll give him a bit of experience, and he needs it. Mike11 says, cavalry on catkills, nya, horse-drawn bayonet tanks. I don't know why the Japanese didn't mount bayonets on their horses. It would make a lot of sense, in my opinion, to have the German Reich, to have proper, you know, Lancer cavalry. I see no particular reason why they would not choose to engage with the full force heritage. Now, these are eventually going to be withdrawn for light rifle divisions, but they'll be very useful up here to begin with, because they're going to eat up a lot less resources. The other 8 Mimpe will be sent to Pusan, where they're going to simply chill out a little bit. We are going to ready another 6 divisions for reinforcing the front line, which we will need. And the cavalry can continue to just do its little training over there.
Heresy's the question.
Right.
Fire is the answer.
We're actually beginning to arrive at a relatively ready position at long last. We'll even have some bombers ready, at least to a degree. They'll be green, but they're close enough for giving it work. Lovely. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, it's time to head for war. Apollyon Curse. Hi, Arch, don't throw me on the calls, but why is riveted armor bad? Riveted armor is bad because of the rivets in the armor. You see, let me see if I can bring up the... God damn it. How can I forget how to do the thing? There you go. Bring it on. So, riveted. You see the little rivets in the armor? Well, they're literally just riveted in there, as in they're shot into the armor. It's just a giant bolt or a giant nail in the armor. Which means that all that is keeping them there is the, top part of the rivet, going flush against the steel. This means that if an enormous outside force, like, a tank shell, hits the tank, then that becomes such that it will actually smash the rivet head, forcing the entire rivet into the tank at very high speed. Essentially, it'll be like shooting yourself with a shotgun made out of rivets the size of your thumb. It was, very lethal. Very lethal. And it also meant that even something like just high explosive rounds, like anti-infantry rounds, would have that effect too. You wouldn't even need to destroy the tank with with an armor-piercing projectile, because the rivets would slaughter the crew. So yes, riveted armor, muy bad. Muy bad. I'm going to need to move the tanks up to the top of the list, I think. Actually, we can cancel that one factory right there. Okay. Now, this looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. Trust me, it's not as bad as it looks. It's just that I'm using a lot of equipment to building units right now. I would have loved to get a little bit more production into that, but such is life, such is life. That's going to be a bit of a problem. Trains are probably going to be a problem too. Frankly, I foresee a tremendous amount of problems. Oh, that's right as well. I need to produce an escort. God, I swear to God, if you forget one thing in this game, you are just actually kind of boned. Alright, we can make a new pattern escort here, giving it hydrophones. It doesn't need a radar. It doesn't need fire controls. It just needs to be able to chase away enemy submarines. So, W-17-2 class. Class escort. Historical minesweepers, no. Historical destroyer escorts. There we go. Right, we are actually going to have an assload of superfluous naval production, so start putting those up there, as these are also going to be sacrificed in tremendous quantities during the war with the Amerikanskis. So we are just going to build an absolute retarded quantity of them. Actually, that's a bit too much, because that'll keep the steel running. Right, that'll use up our superfluous steel as well, which is just about perfect. Alright. Let's develop the bauxite deposit, I guess. Kuragana, Type 95. Okay, all of the preliminary preparations are just about done. Now we are just heading towards war. Whoa. World War Japanese. World War Japan. World War Japan. World War Weeaboo. The Hindenburg disaster. Oh no, the humanity. Who could have foreseen this tragedy? That filling an enormous balloon of highly flammable... And there's the annoying part of the fucking spying system. Which one of you aren't doing anything? You. Okay. Go. Rescue. Little Todd. Actually, you need to keep building the system thingy. Are you... Here. There. Okay, that'll do it. Alright. The spy system is not very good. The spy system is actually terrible. I hate the spy system with pretty much every fiber in my being. It is an awful system, and there is very little in it that is actually useful. That is perhaps the single biggest problem of the entire spy system, that there's just not a whole lot of useful things in it. It's the... you can kind of boost your technology a little bit, which is cute, but that's about it. And the build collaborative government thing, which is by far the most useful thing in the entire system, as it increases your collaborative score. Because, oh god, I hate the update that they did for the La Resistance, where they made it so that instead of needing to beat down actual uprisings on the map, you instead needed to deal with I'll just show you rather than wandering around for the words for it. This system right here. So instead of there being actual units that spawn on the map and then you need to defeat them, and militia units have like an area of suppression around them that lowers the resistance, instead now you have random attacks upon your dudes that happened due to the unrest. And the attacks are ridiculous. Like, if you get, like, 20, 30 unrest, you get attacks daily. Each one killing, like, 14, 15 manpower. Like, I have seen China be destroyed by unrest. I have seen China devour, like, 100,000 manpower a month dealing with unrest. And it's like, that is not unrest. That is not the Eastern Front, even. That is literal street warfare on every inch of Chinese soil. And hello, Dev. Thank you for the raid. Play Disco Elysium. No. Oh, I hate this system. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's just a tax on occupying territory, and that's all it is. And you need to make the little blue bar increase to reduce the tax on occupying territory. Like, it's not fun. It's not interesting. It's an awful fucking mechanic. And I loathe it with every fiber of my fucking being. Yeah, that's about how I feel about it. Thank you, Dev, again. Mostly peaceful protesters, indeed. Alright, it is time to begin the extraordinarily long march down the World War I tech tree. As Japan apparently learned very little from the Russo-Japanese War. Very, 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 very painfully fucking little. Now, I will try to keep the campaign as relatively cheese-free as possible, since one of the easiest way to win Hearts of Iron is to abuse the ever-living shit out of the AI. A lot. And the AI is pretty easy to abuse, so I can absolutely see why people do it, but we are going to try and keep that to a minimum. So we're going to have some self-imposed rules, like no artificial retreats to drag in enemy units, for example. That's a very popular one. Again, somewhat understandably so. But I am going to do one piece of cheese, because China's a bitch, okay? And China cheats a lot. China cheats a frightening amount, frankly. And so we are going to use just a tiny pinch of cheese. And that cheese will be called the Qingdao Trap. The Qingdao Trap consists of invading Weihai again and again and again, to which the Chinese will go, "Notu wanu stepu baku," and send like 20 divisions up here. Then you invade Qingdao, cut them off and kill them. Then you retreat whilst laughing, and then you do it again. And again, and again. Until the Chinese either learn their lesson or they're all dead. 1 out of 2. More often than not, it's number 2. Well, we are going to limit ourselves to only so many of those. We're not going to keep doing it forever because, again, it's exceptionally gay, but I am going to do it a little bit because I think the video game deserves it, frankly. Right, you are going to be ground attackers over there. You can actually come over here and be ground attackers in northern China. And we'll maintain air superiority there and there. And you guys might as well too. Okay. Mobilize the bombardment fleet to aid with the efforts. And decrease the speed to about 3. We are not going to be launching any major offensives into China here because there's no point in it. Straight up, there's actually no point in it. It is much superior to instead allow the Chinese to put lots of units over here and then surround and kill all of them, rather than just capturing like the 4 or 5 units they've got up there already. Alright, send over 1 more unit so I can send that over there. 1 cavalry unit will rush for that. Another cavalry unit will try to get across the river. We'll seize that because there's no particular reason not to. Actually, if you're going to go over there, that's fine. We'll send 3 cavalry units over there and 1 cavalry unit for the river. And that'll be the setup for the larger surround down the road. Ah, the Chinese Navy. It is garbage. It is exceptionally garbage. It is no threat whatsoever, in fact. Speaking of no threat, underwater Asians. Investigate. Strike up. Something, I don't know. But underwater Asians, go there. Underwater Asians, kill the enemy. Underwasser aliens. No, no, little silly Chinese people. You just move out of the way for the Riku Sentai. Because the Riku Sentai are elites. And they care not for your flippant theagatry, not one bit. We shall unite people under our government because our stability has taken an enormous dip. Which I don't really believe to be entirely fair. I don't think that the Japanese public would be like, you went to war with China? Oh no, how dreadful. In fact, I think the Chinese public, or the Japanese public, would be like, oh, you went to war with China? Fucking ace. Can we join in? That would be the more expected reaction, I think. Actually, I don't need you. You go back there. Right, and the fuel meter immediately takes an enormous dip, which is pretty much as expected. Yep, the fuel is just going to suck quite a lot. And I don't need as much bauxite now anymore, so we can actually cancel those. Lovely. Right, we've got a decent little amount of factories going, and we're going to be able to solve our engine production issues in just a little bit. So production-wise, we're not doing too shabbily. We've got a few fighters to replace, but that is entirely normal. And we've got a few tank chassis to replace as well, but that also is entirely normal. And we'll get a lot better once we convert the other unit, which we might be able to do very soon. Oh, never mind. Right, warrior tradition it is. Our bombers must be directed. I've never picked that one before. Seversky P2A3B has been successful. The first 20 aircraft have arrived in Tokyo. If we wish to license the aircraft, we will need to devote time and technical resources to prepare Japanese industry to produce this foreign aircraft. That is adorable. Its range is 1,715 kilometers. Damn. Air defense 23, air attack 17. Its Not bad, actually. Not bad. I don't need it, and I don't want it because it's Russian, but it's not bad. Oh, God help me, the trains again. Okay. Put the trains at the top of the list. There's really nothing here I can trim either. Right. Way high has been secured. This is good. Let's see. The reserve forces, which is essentially you. You go over there. That'll keep the Chinese busy. And once they've gotten a second to build up their organization, you go back home and prepare part 2 of our little churlish maneuver to make sure there are fewer Chinese people opposing us. I see the rush on Yanmen didn't work out necessarily, at the very least not yet. Do I want to try another one? Kinda want to, kinda don't. Kinda want to, kinda don't. See, taking Yanmen is neat because it does deny them a little bit of incredibly defensive terrain. We'll go around them a little bit instead. Sandoom says, no anything on the Australian tank, the Sentinel. Name doesn't ring an immediate bell, unless it's the Bob Semper tank, which was adorable. And everybody loves the Bob Semper tank because it was cute. Nobody dislikes the Bob Semper tank. And they really should have made more Bob Semper tanks. I call it Semper. I know it's Stemple or something else like that, but Semper sounds cuter. And I like to think of it as a cute little tank, okay? Ah, carrier pigeons. I'm 98% sure the Japanese knew about carrier pigeons in the Russo-Japanese War, but oh, well. Alright. More than 25? What? Oh, goddammit. Oh, God help me. The fucking spying system. Alright, there. That should get it up about 25 again. Now, little Chinese people, please move out of the way rapidly. What's particularly funny to me about all this here is the Special Naval Landing Forces of Japan, the Tokubetsu Rikusentai Kaigun, were not Special Landing Forces at all, actually. They were actually garbage. Complete and utter garbage. Can you? You can. Do I care if you can? I might not. See, they weren't Marines. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that the SNLF were Marines, right? As in the American Marines, which were a bit more of a specialized division. They underwent a fair bit more training than the average American rifleman, for example. And they, of course, were specialized in using specialist equipment, like, you know, landing crafts, and using special tactics, like invading beaches, stuff like that. The Kaigun Tokubetsu Rikusentai Kaigun had none of that. They were, in fact, the reverse of special. They were troops, they were Marines. Not Marines as in, you know, Marines, but as in sailors, as in just regular dudes who are on boat that were given infantry training. So they weren't specially trained infantrymen, they were sailors who were taught the basics of infantry combat. Oh, God, that supply indeed. Let's see if we can slim this down a little bit. And thus, they were shit. They were really shit. They were complete shit. Most of them turned into just garrison units, in fact. Very few of them even carried out successful landings. And the ones that could be argued to be at least, you know, somewhat elite, the ones that were turned into paratroopers, at least they received, you know, additional training, I think only one or possibly two of those saw like proper combat operations. The rest two were just turned into garrison forces to guard islands. So yeah, they're not special forces in the slightest, but the game thinks they are. In the game, they're actually amazeballs. In the game, they are unironically great units. Right, another light unit. The Northern Army, we shall dub thee. Where do I send you? I think I send you to Incheon, right there. And pull the bombardment fleet out of storage again. Right, the Jidosha gun is on station. Lovely. It's time for a little bit of a fishing trip. Yes, indeed. Right, that is going to need more infantry eventually, so we'll start by pouring in a little bit more, keeping it ready. But we'll keep a special eye on this, as our sailors with rifles have just landed. Right. Spread out. Adorable. And voila, a cute little pocket has formed. National General Mobilization laws. By the way, did I forget to actually activate the whole crypto? Yeah, of course I did. Derp. Alright, at least I managed to rescue my retarded little captive, so that's something. Right, you're building that. That's fine. You go up there and deal with the rebels a little bit. You keep building that. Good boys. Alright, and we'll wait until they're through. Time. That one. And suddenly, the Chinese found themselves in a very unfortunate situation that none of them could ever have predicted. Mobilize, please. Who could have seen this bullshit coming? Who indeed could have seen this bullshit coming? And the Soviets are going to start pissing on me again, but I'm getting quite used to that, so... The supply situation over here remains absolute garbage awful, but that also is hardly surprising or rare. Start attacking. Little militia unit, maybe you go down there. Right, 318 enemy fighters. Right, so they've dedicated all of their fighters to this area. That is good. That means I am going to do the same. Let's move those in. Those in. And we're going to begin taking on that. Right. Little trucks. Time for you to do something. Time for you to go on the offensive. This is also going to require the rest of the infantry. And probably some of these guys too. And the cavalry will follow suit to steady up the advance a little bit. Might need to throw something else in here. Depends on how much more bombing I get going. And depends on how the enemy reacts to these naval landings. Silly, silly little AI. Okay, they are going to stop me there because the wall is most assuredly forming. The wall is a very unique Chinese phenomenon. It is created when 1 million Chinese divisions all move into your way at the same time. It is a very, very common thing to happen in China, and it is something that you're just gonna have to learn to live with. It requires a fair bit of fang-dangling when it comes to the resource and the supply system. As the wall will form. The wall will form repeatedly, and the wall will form brutally and suddenly. And the wall will put an end to even the most well-thought-out of offensives. God help me, will it? Right. The cars are still doing pretty damn well. And our little encirclement there is going to plan as well. Alright, have a quick moment to reorganize yourself once you get there. And that will form up for another wall. No. Select. Right. And cavalry, you're gonna need to come with me. Avoiding the wall is mostly about just raw, sheer, unadulterated luck, frankly, more so than anything else. But is also primarily about speed, about trying to move so quickly that the wall can't catch up to you, which is very difficult as the wall moves at a ridiculous speed. You see, the Chinese get a lot of bonuses and benefits in this mod, which are designed to screw you over rather violently. And before I wander off on too much of a tangent, remember to check if there's anything you're needing to actually research, which, for now... escort patrols. I also have a bunch of that, which I'm going to need to actually save up 100 of it, so we're not going to... Yeah, I think I could... No. Yeah, let's spend it on him. An additional 10% infantry attack is very useful. Macquarie 11, assault truck kun. Yeah, many Chinese were isekai'd. We can but hope. Alright, we got that, which is good. Get in there. Get moving, boys, get moving. Moving. Hooray. Get moving. Oh, stop them. Don't let them get moving. Don't let them get moving either. Block them. Get the cars in there. The cars are out of fuel, aren't they? Yep, the cars are out of fuel. When the cars are out of fuel, they become little more than big, dumb vehicles that move very slowly. Right, and with that, I think we've captured... Yeah, we have. Okay. The airfield, which means I can move in another 150 fighters. Very useful. Come now, boys, come now. Come all. Hurry, scurry. Nimbly down the mountainside. As quickly as you can. Preferably before the containment starts giving in. Oh, God. Oh, shit. We're beginning to see the retreat wall. Ah, no. Not the retreat wall. This is another favored Chinese tactics where they will... Yep, there we go. Ah, crap. I think I'm fucked. Yep. See... For some reason, this mod allows units to retreat at full org. So this is another way the Chinese often manage to get out of even the most surefire surrounds. They start retreating, and by the time they arrive at your units, they will actually have regained all of the organization they spent breaking through. I hate this, and I consider it to be a bug, frankly, because I cannot imagine that being how it's supposed to work. But it does. But that is still a decent-looking surround, so I'm not too mad yet. Alright, did they switch? All of the aircraft over there, perchance? Nope, we're still fighting over here. Good. Alright. Could have been better. I could have got another 5 divisions out of that, but... not too bad, not too bad. And see, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. 8 divisions over here. Not bad, not too shabby. Alright, seeing as we're struggling a little bit there, we'll send out the bombardment fleet to make that a bit easier. Oh, Nationalist China has a lot of aircraft, chat. You laugh. Nationalist China has a lot of aircraft because they get them for free. Yes. Nationalist China have a lot of 1700 troops, has a lot of focus tree things, which gives them free infantry equipment, which gives them free tanks, which gives them free aircraft, which give them free pretty much everything in the video game. It makes them rather infuriating to fight at times. And it makes them a hell of a lot tougher. Right. Now it's just all about reducing that and reducing their... Oh, now they've retreated. Yep, now they've retreated everything over there. Okay, well. Not as ideal, but we don't need all of these, do we? We really don't. Let's get some of these, rid of some of them, to hopefully reinforce the others up to something that resembles full status. Okay, these are the fighters. Keep just those. Move them over there and start pilot exercises. You do want to wear down the nationalist Chinese Air Force as often and as fast as you can, because doing so will help you a lot later on. So, yep, sending in a lot of stuff there is pretty damn good. We're going to start sending in the medium bombers too. Am I continuing with this? Nope, because I can't hear the tiny little bonk that indicates that they're done building something. Oh, God. I so miss the old pop-up system from Hearts of Iron 3. It was an amazing system. It was such a great system. And they decided to remove it because it wasn't elegant enough. I shit you not. First time I loaded up Hearts of Iron 3, I spent like an hour plus just looking for the pop-up system. Like, where the hell is the pop-up system? I want to customize my pop-ups. I need warnings when there's naval battles, I need warnings when certain events happen, etc. And I couldn't find it. So I went on the Paradox forums, like, okay, where the hell is the pop-up feature? And that's where one of the developers, answering the dozen other questions that also went, where's the pop-up feature? Went, actually, we removed all of the pop-ups because it wasn't a very elegant solution. Oh, it wasn't a very elegant solution, was it? Oh, but the current solution is elegant. You need to listen very carefully to a slight ding in the background. That's an elegant solution, is it? Fucking Paradox. Sometimes. The majority of the time these days, frankly. It's like, yeah, you just gotta listen really carefully. Or you've gotta look over there and it's like, oh, there's a little icon over there. Wow. That icon means that your entire fleet's about to sink. Wow. Well, I'm very glad that I didn't fail to notice the little icon that says that all of my shit's about to die, because that would have been just catastrophic, frankly. Been awful. And that's the G3M2 bomber. Lovely. Would I like to customize the G3M2 bomber? Kind of, yes. I would like to give it heavy Kanonen, because that'll increase its ground attack by 1, which isn't bad. What else can I do? Maintenance, airframe?
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
That gives me very little extra air defense. 0.5. the defense turrets are way more useful. Does it fuck me up in any way? It decreases my reliability a little bit, but I don't know if I care. That even increases my range by 20 kilometers. It ain't much, but it's something. Alright, G3M7. Let's see. Who's donated the most today? Shadow Turtle Yang Yang, probably. Navy G3M7 Shadow. Shadow Turtle. Lovely. Cute. Mr. Distant Frenzy, hey Arch, how do the Adeptus Mechanicus view the Necrons? Do they envy them, curious to learn their tech? Do they think the Omnissiah flows within them? Or have they ever made comments on the topic? They have. They fetishize them to an extreme degree. Unironically, if the Adeptus Mechanicus could find a way to, like, get an intact Necron and fuck it angrily and repeatedly, they would. They would happily do so. They would enjoy it. They would brag about it to all of their friends and family. The United States demands apology and compensation. Yes, massa, I will cuck to the United States because I would not like to be invaded right now. In fact, being invaded right now would be pretty fucking catastrophic. So, yep, I sunk your boat. Sorry, apologies. Here, have these 100 made-up points that probably matters somehow, some way. I don't know, but they probably do. Have them, and leave me alone. And with our beautiful little trap closing over here, and our equally beautiful, if slightly more cuntish trap also finishing up over here, we can go back home and prepare to do it all over again. Is it asshole-ish? Yes. Is it effective? Oh god, yes. Will I do it? At least a few more times. Listen, China is a hellhole, okay? If you were in my shoes, you'd want to abuse the Chinese too. Speaking of abusing the Chinese, I feel like I'm forgetting something. It probably has to do with building bigger carriers. Yeah, it definitely has to do with building bigger carriers, but I need a focus point for that, so don't need to worry about that just yet. Okay, one more of those. Then I really need to start getting going on the fucking World War I tech. Right, spies. Are you doing anything useful? Yes. Good. Good. Good on you. Come one, come all. We're invading China today. To the sound of electro swing music, which was the closest to, you know, relevant music that I could find. Right, we are going to motorize this place, because it'll give me a little bit better supplies. Now then, come on little Chinese, flood back in again, I dare you. You wouldn't be so silly as to make the same mistake twice now, would you? Of course we would. Watch us, we're Chinese. Flooding into tight confined quarters is what we do. Oh boy, that's a lot of shit. Okay, hold off on that for a second. We'll find somewhere slightly less heavily defended to squeeze first, I think. There you go. Keep pounding them into an ever smaller area whilst tearing down their air force. One silly little aircraft at a time. Laifu Hauku becomes a bridge god worshipper. Thank you very much, sir, and welcome. Mr. Twisted Frenzy, what's the likelihood the Mechanicus would betray the Imperium to the Necrons if the opportunity presented itself? Very small. Because here's the thing that the neo-pronouns crowd also forget on this matter. The Mechanicus worship the machine, absolutely. But that does not mean that they reject humanity. They view humanity as the ultimate good. Humanity is the embodiment of all good. They become better by joining with the machine. They are not rejecting humanity, they are, in their eyes, enhancing humanity. So, they wouldn't want to become Necrons, like fully machines. They wouldn't want that. That would go against their purity. Now, there would probably be some, you know, cold trader types that would be like, you know what? Nah. I don't want to deal with this hypocrisy nonsense. I do want to become a full toaster. But they are in the minority. I wish to become full toaster. And prioritize naval construction. There we are. Invest in construction research? Yes, I'd like to do so. And 50 more points. And reform our military command. Oh boy, that is a delicious little stack, isn't it? You know what? I think this round worked out pretty well after all. That's 40. Oh, that's a lot of Chinese. Yeah.
I have lost.
Yes. Yes, Dev, you have lost. Dev is in the midst of all of this. Come now. Come now, Devnese. We will destroy the Devnese. Delicious. Tasty, tasty Chinese. Oh boy, my fuel consumption. Let me guess. Is the Navy out and about trying to intercept something? Is that why my fuel consumption spiked into the million layers again? No, it's still there. What's oh, it's you, isn't it? Is it? Yes, it's you. God damn, you're expensive. Holy moly, mother of macaroni. Fucking shit. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well. Surely I must have enough cars by now. Close as that it makes little to no difference. Alright, you begin training. And I guess we're just buying more oil. Come here, America. I need more of that delicious black gooey stuff that you gush out of every orifice constantly. Let's see. That gives me... Is that an actual? No, -8. Do I care about -8 aluminum? Aluminum. No, -5. I can deal with a -5 deficit. That's fine. That's dealable with. That's okay. That is acceptable. Acceptable losses. Right. Begin production of another Jirosha Sidan. It's going to take a while for that one to be done, but we'll begin training of it now. And the Riku Sentai Kaigun have all of their equipment. Beautiful. Deploy it, smack it down there, and start training it. Right, have you sent enough cute little stuff up here now? I think you have. Good. Commit to the assholery again. Okay, let's see. What was that? That was 379,000 Chinese people. Well, that'll put a dent even in the Chinese army, methinks. Yes. Yes. Celebrate, chat. Celebrate our first great achievement. So this window right here, right? I love the fact that they've added in casualties, because it was my favorite feature of Hearts of Iron 3. You know, crushing a massive pocket and be like, holy shit, like 250,000 people died in that thing right there, you know? But with Hearts of Iron 4, there's so much more they could do with this. And the equipment list, for example, they lost 41.59 thousand Ls. Okay, I would like to know what that was, but you can't because you can't scroll the list. And the list literally covers the screen. Right. Like, what exactly did I get? Like, how many tanks did I kill? How many rifle units did I get? How many units did I capture? You should be able to click this button and get like a detailed breakdown of what happened in the fight. You should be able to get a detailed breakdown of your units. What did you lose? How many units did you lose? Which unit lost the most? What is its like performance in battle and so on? To actually be able to analyze things, you know? That would be great, but no. Hold on. I need to see if I can find let's see. Damn it, I don't think so. I wanted to see if the Myth 3 commentary was on YouTube somewhere, where they just go like, casualties. Casualty. I love that part of Myth. Whenever you lose any character whatsoever, the game mocks you. Casualty. That was an irreplaceable soldier in the eternal war against darkness. You wasted him. Casualty. Whew. Leifu Haiku, Arch, are there any chance that you would revisit Wiki 3 after the warfare update? You can see the army formations now. Oh my. I'm waiting for the big thing. What were they calling it? You know what I'm talking about. The thing. The, like, blah, blah, illumination or whatever they were calling it. That thing. The big expansion pack that was like, this will save Victoria. I'm waiting for that one because I'm waiting to point and laugh at it and be like, it's still shit. Because I am about 98% sure that is going to be my final verdict on that game. Like, it still sucks. It's like, wow, it's still garbage. Imagine that. Like, it's slightly browner now. Ooh. We'll see. I will revisit it when that comes out because I would like for Victoria to be good. Like, I'd prefer it if Victoria was good. I just have absolutely no faith whatsoever that it's actually going to be good. None. Absolutely none. Like, unironically, absolutely zero. I have no faith in that game. For the simple reason that Paradox clearly has no faith in that game. Instead of making the in-depth and awesome economy simulator that everyone wanted, they were like, we're going to make a half-assed economy simulator. Yeah, and then we're also going to remove warfare. Yeah, why would you do that? Because we're Paradox and we're brain damaged. That tracks, correct? That's true, but I mean, oh god. See, if they at least would have made a great economic simulator, right? I would have been like, alright, you know, Victoria 3 was always primarily about the nut-crushingly deep simulation. So, fair enough. Like, you removed a lot of the warfare stuff, but you focused all of your efforts on this. Rightio, like, I'll take it. But no! The warfare stuff is shit, and the simulation stuff is shit too. It's like with Total War, when they went like, oh yes, by making double wars, it'll make it so much easier for us to make competent AI that can attack it effectively. It'll improve the experience. Trust us, dude bros. And we were like, okay, well, you know, fair enough. If it'll make the game better and the AI better, then alright, we'll give it a go. Then the game released, and it turns out they lied their filthy little dirty fuckholes off. Again! Because that is what Paradox does. Create Assembly, excuse me. Well, both of them, actually, yes. Both companies have adopted a doctrinal policy of lying their secondary fuckholes off. And I don't think anyone will ever really disagree with that anymore. Like, it's just observable reality now. Yes, they are both absolute shitbirds. You're right. See, back in the day, there was never any talk of compromise like this. Not in this particular fashion, at least. There were still compromises, obviously. There were still game companies, like, going to E3 and going like, yeah, so this time, we're aiming for a bit of a wider audience. And what do they mean when they said that? They meant, oh, we're going to introduce an easy mode. And already back then, all of us looked at that and went like, that's going to ruin the game, you know? And people are like, no, it's not going to ruin the video game. You'll still have normal mode right there, you little bitch. And we're like, yeah, but it's gonna affect the design philosophy. It's going to affect the people who make it. It's going to make them think differently, design different. It's like, no, of course not. 10 years later. Sometimes, you know, I wish we could go back in time. I want to go back in time and just start telling people that Diablo 4 is going to release. And everyone's going to hate it. It's going to be an enormous flop. It's going to have DRM out the arse. And I just want to see the reaction from people at that. Like, if anyone will believe it. Oh boy, a little bit of mounting casualties there, admittedly. I do need to move away from the pack artillery in not too long, but first I do need to make some more pack artillery, actually, to make up for the immediate losses, which is fair and dandy. Mostly it's because I'm making so many more divisions at the same time. That's the problem. Okay, do I want to... My deliveries are getting a bit affected. Okay, throw in one civilian factory on steel production then. Let's see. We're beginning to level that. Yep, that's good. We don't need that just yet. Yeah, breakthrough is what we're going to be focusing on here. And squishy squashy that yet again. Let's see. Where's the bombardment fleet? There's the bombardment fleet. Come out to play. Right, the rest of this army is going to stay in place for a little bit, because I want to pull this trick off at least one more time to reduce their numbers a little bit, because right around now should be the point in time where China is kicking in their first wave of free reinforcements. So I kind of want to wear out a little bit of their initial wave of shit before I begin the next maneuver, which will be a cut over land here by the Jidosha Shiran, and a subsequent naval invasion by the Rikusentai right here in Zhuhai. I also want to just buy myself a little bit more time to produce equipment, as right now my equipment is keeping up with casualties relatively well, but that is only going to be for so long and so effective-like. Especially as a lot of the units will also be receiving additional supplies now. Right, amphibious warfare stuff is ready, so we can bring that down to 2 factories, which will help out a little bit. We're very close to finishing our need for field uniforms. Rifles, we're still quite a bit off. We are actually fully supplied on light anti-tank now, which is quite cute. Alright, we'll probably invest that primarily into mountain guns, light field guns then. We'll just keep 2 factories in it. Will probably be enough, honestly. A little bit of an earthquake destroyed a major Japanese city because the Japanese did not earthquake-proof it effectively. And you can move back there. Manchu Kuo is beginning their own offensives. I don't think they're going to achieve much, unfortunately. I don't think they're going to achieve anything, actually. Okay, we are going to start a little bit of a preparatory offensive now, then, I think. Jidosha. We can have a quick little snip there, and we're going to move over so that we get a nice forward positioning area. With a new logistic update, it's very important to get logistical points. I believe, is there one down here? There's one at Zhiheng. Is there one closer? There isn't, is there? Oh, God. Well, Taiwan. I might need to take Taiwan to keep my... Oh no, there's actually one right there. Okay, well that makes things a hell of a lot easier. And the Chinese pretty much immediately reacted to that, unfortunately. Yeah, the Manchu Kuo offensives have kind of spoiled mine a little bit. Still... We'll make the effort. If I get very lucky, I might actually get to snatch some of it up. Right, more military commanders. Minoru Genda. Minoru Genda. Minoru Genda is the criminally overlooked brains behind the Pearl Harbor operation. See, a lot of people credit Isoroku Yamamoto for the strike on Pearl Harbor. He came up with the idea in principle, it is true, but it was Minoru Genda who came up with the actual plan for it. Genda also came up with a much better variant of the plan than Isoroku Yamamoto came up with. So in Yamamoto's original plan, the Kidobutai, the Japanese carrier force, was to strike at Pearl Harbor from absolute maximum range. And then, once it had struck, it was to immediately retreat back out of, the area and head back to Japan. This would put it out of return range for the returning aircraft, meaning that all of the aircraft that would be a part of the attack would need to ditch in the sea because they literally would not be able to make it back home to the carriers. This was rather cold-blooded, to put it mildly, as the odds of them just simply drowning were very, very high. Now, he did have plans to leave behind destroyers to try and pick up at least some of the crews, but the casualty rates would almost certainly have been enormous. Alright, we're starting to get a little bit of resistance going here, so I'm thinking we're gonna need probably to head on into secret police, at least, for China. Maybe even military governorship if it keeps going on this way. Now, this was a particularly retarded idea because Japan just didn't have a whole lot of trained pilots. In fact, a lack of trained pilots would become the primary reason why Japan lost the war. First and foremost, it was the lack of actual good airmen that screwed Japan over. As they could produce a decent amount of aircraft, nothing compared to America, of course, but they could do a decent job of it, but they couldn't replace pilots. The pilots were irreplaceable. And this idea, which would have cost Japan a tremendous number of their best and brightest pilots in the first strike of the war, would unsurprisingly have been rather disastrous. Genda came up with an entirely different plan. Genda's plan was for the strike as it happened in actual reality, but he had actually planned for something on a much, much, much larger scale. He wanted the attack to be merely the lead-in to a full-scale invasion of Hawaii and Oahu, Pearl Harbor, where it was, by at least 2 to 3 divisions of Japanese troops. This, if successful, might have ended the war right there, unironically, because let's just have a quick look at the map here. This is where Hawaii is. This is where Pearl Harbor is, right here, like Oahu. And this is America. And this is the absolute wasteland desert of open ocean between the two. The US would have to cross all of this with an enormous transport flotilla with enough men aboard to attack Oahu, which all of it is just a series of tiny, easily fortifiable islands with no air cover beyond what they could bring on carriers, and with most of their fleet either destroyed, scuppered, or still stuck in Pearl Harbor. Now, the Americans did have significant garrison forces in Hawaii, so there's no guarantee that a Japanese invasion would have been successful. And furthermore, the Japanese invasion would have to cross an even greater distance in secrecy and then be maintained, bearing in mind also that Guam, or Midway actually, that's Guam. Now this way, God help me, that Midway Island sits right on the pass, so they would have to take Midway too, otherwise Midway could attack any and all supply routes heading to Pearl Harbor. It would have been a logistical nightmare, and no doubt about it. But if successful, that would have been the end, right there. That would have ended the war, in my opinion. Because America would have to roll the dice an all-or-nothing attempt to retake it. And I don't know if America would have had the balls to do that. Bearing in mind, they would have to face off against the entire might of the combined fleet in doing so. They would have to fight the entire surface force, they would have to fight the intact Kido Butai, and they would have to fight God only knows how many hundreds, if not thousands, of aircraft based on Hawaii itself. It would have been a nightmare. But, again, it was considered too ambitious by Japanese high command. And to be fair, the troops, like, Genda's plan was ambitious. It was very ambitious, and it's not at all certain that it would even have been theoretically feasible, because, again, moving that many men, supplying them, keeping them operational that far away from Japan, etc., it would have been awful. Speaking of awful, I would really like to take Taiyuan, because that would make my situation significantly less awful. But I also don't want to waste too much of my forces doing that, but we're gonna make an effort, because I wanted at least one more little cheese over here. I'm gonna allow myself one more cheese, I think. Three cheese is all. I'll allow myself 3 cheeses, and then we're gonna have to start playing by the rules again. Fuel refining, definitely, we need that. Three cheese. Agent injured? Well, that's fine, because we are done with collaborative government. Okay, great. In preparation? Yep. Immediately, just kick that off right on over again. We need to keep that going. Plant Force Intelligent. What does that even do? I have no idea, actually. Right, you can start on some propaganda in China, actually, as can you. The propaganda isn't very effective, but it does help. It does help. It's worth doing, at least initially, because it does lower China's surrender limit. And China's surrender limit is the biggest issue, because China just doesn't fucking surrender. Just like in reality, China just doesn't fucking surrender. Ever. They just kind of keep going, and that makes the Japanese very, very sad and very, very angry. Alright, come on. Go straight for Taiyuan. Straight for it. And that's the naval estimates, which give me advanced hydronomics, which is going to give me the big boy carriers. Now, I see somebody in chat already peace with China. I don't think so. I already mentioned that America could churn out tremendous quantities of carriers, and yes, they absolutely could. But bear you in mind here as well that America was actually scared shitless of the danger posed to carriers by land-based aircraft. The basic understanding at the time was that carriers would stand very little chance against ground-based aircraft, because ground-based aircraft, of course, could just, take off from the island, and you couldn't sink it. Whereas the carrier could be sunk from by the aircraft launched from the island. It was seen as an extremely inadvantageous position to need to fight ground bases with aircraft. In fact, it was seen as damn near suicidal. For the longest time, the Americans were super scared of Truk, for example, the Japanese naval base in the Pacific, because they thought it was fortified to high hell, it would have loads and loads of aircraft on it, and it would be a nightmare to attack. It turned out that it wasn't actually that bad. The Americans came up with a tactic that they would dub the Big Blue Blanket. This was the idea of just saturating the shit out of an airfield with hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of carrier-launched aircraft. Now, this is something only the Americans could do, and something only the Americans could come up with, frankly, to just be like, okay, yeah, this is an incredibly disadvantageous position. What can we do about it? Well, we can just throw an infinite number of aircraft at the problem, and that solved it. By simply smothering the entire island in endless waves of fighters and bombers, the Japanese defenses couldn't do anything because they were so ridiculously outnumbered and they were so continuously bombarded from the sky that they couldn't even leave their hangars without being destroyed near instantaneously. Again, this is very much so a tactic that only the Americans could pull off. And it would require an enormous amount of air power to do, so it would take the Americans a very long time to build all of those carriers. But it is entirely possible that if the Americans tried, that they actually could just big blue blanket Hawaii and thus overrun it. But that assumes they'd think of that. That assumes they'd try it, and that's assuming they would have the balls to try. Bearing in mind, they would have to risk, like, what, probably 500,000 men, you know, combined, navy and air, etc., and everything to do it. And they would have to risk them, again, bear in mind also, a very long way away from America, meaning that if they were defeated trying to attack Hawaii, they might get their asses wiped. Like, the casualty estimates would have been ridiculous, enough to make the war-weary President Franklin D. Roosevelt blanch. FDR, by the way, was not particularly war-weary. He created the war to begin with. He was a little bit of a bastard in that way. What just happened? You got yourself. Of course you did. Of course you did. Stupid bitch. Alright, you need to go rescue the dumb woman, and I need somebody else to take her place. Alright. It shouldn't take me too long to collect the infantry equipment required. I do need way more trains, but that's just existence. Alright, I can focus over those from tanks, because I've already got the baseline tanks I need. Alright, the trucks are doing okay. I can probably start shifting away from truck manufacturing, which would be nice. I'm almost reached my horse transport level, which is also nice. Alright, the manufacturing is actually going swimmingly. And my last little cheese attempt. 86,000. I'll take it. I'll take it. Certainly not a bad little surround. Right, we're going to keep those at Weyhaven. Because I want the Chinese to keep sending men over there. And we're going to refocus our naval planning efforts on Shuhei, or Shuhei, or whatever that place was called. For the big surround. Are you ready trained? You are. Good little boys. And bits and pieces of the next army is getting ready too. Okay. General Hyakutake Harukichi will take over command of the second. What was it? Rikusentai Kaigun Tokubetsu? No. Kaigun Tokubetsu Rikusentai. Which is slightly too long, but that'll be fine. Alright. This is the point at which I really should start using the army planning thing, but I hate the army planning thing, and I refuse to engage with it. I deeply dislike the fact that they've made the army planning thingy, the battle planning thingy, almost a necessity now. And you really should engage with it. You should not follow my example and simply reject its existence from your mind, because it is an incredibly useful tool and it's an incredibly powerful tool. I just hate it, because it means surrendering parts of control over to the AI, and the AI is goddamn fucking retarded. Speaking of surrendering control to the AI, it is also time. I don't need the strategic bombing, not yet, but I do need the logistical strike. And you lads as well. Whenever you don't have a ground attack mission to carry out, destroy some Chinese trucks for me. A V-Raid. Thank you very much, V. The V-audience. The V-audience. Right. We're starting to run out of electricity, so we're going to need some more of that, definitely. And I'd like some more of that, too. We're also going to have to start buying food now. Because we're trying to feed the Chinese. And, well, it's a fucking lot of Chinese. That is a lot of Chinese. I know, who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk there'd be a tremendous amount of Chinese people in China? And I'm gonna need to start focusing on garrison equipment too. Redney Fair says, "Hi Archie, you got raided by V. Have some money." I did, I just noticed. The little pop-up thing appeared and told me that I was raided. Okay, what can I start cutting off here? I really need to start cutting something. Probably trucks. And uniforms. And that soon, but not quite yet. I'm also going to need a little bit more metal. There. Right. It is time for the offensive to resume. Oh, hell. Oh, hey. Oh, guten Tag. Ohio gozaimasu, senpai. Hello, that's a... Hold on. No, don't chase them away. Don't. No, stop. Well, no. Chinky Winky Ally, seize. Oh, God, that was so many.
I have lost.
Yes. Chinese, in there. In the pocket. No, damn it. I think most of the Chinese fled the pocket. That was a beautiful little pocket. It could still be a beautiful little pocket. Hold on. I haven't given up on this being a beautiful little pocket. This could be a beautiful pocket. This could be a beautiful little pocket. Oh, yes, this could be a beautiful little pocket. Come on. Ah, damn it. The wall. The wall of the Chinese people. Shit. Okay. Cancel that. Hold it for a second. Shit. God, there's so many Chinese. How come there's always so many Chinese in my way? Fuck, okay. I wish Manchu Kuo would stop that, because that's going to make them retreat. And yes, indeed, they're doing that. Ah, god damn it. Yep. Fucking Manchu Kuo, you pieces of shit. They're going to scare away the Chinese. Ah, god, they're scaring away all of my little Chinese people. Okay. If at first you don't succeed, expand your ambitions. Come on. God damn it. The Chinese are running. I'll get through there. Stop attacking the Chinese! Oh, God. I want to request their forces, but if I do that, they'll get, like, those dumb points that eventually allows them to become independent, and I really don't want them to become independent. Oh, God, you've been starving this whole time, haven't you, you little stupid bastards? Like, we're just so hungry. I know, disperse! But you have to order us. Fuckwits. Goddamn. Manchu Kuo is my Italy. That's what they are. They're my Italians. Might as well make it light chassis. Not that it's used for anything, but... Speaking of that one. Electronic research time, plus 10%. Okay, just keep going in there. Keeping them distracted. We need to keep the Chinese distracted. Come on. Run your little Japanese feet off before the fucking Manchu Kuoans can ruin this. Do not let the allied Chinese allow the other Chinese to escape. Okay, you stay. You go. Go. Pedal to the fucking metal. Come on. Okay. Don't attack that. No, no. If I do, that'll scare them off. They'll just be like little frightened rabbits, and they'll try and run. And I don't want them to run. I want them to die. Come on. Yes, 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 yes. Come on, get the infantry in there. Plug the hole. Plug the hole. There we go. Don't let any of the little Chinese squirt out. There you go. Do not let the Chinese squirt out. Lovely. Now it's time to check your social credit score, you little Chinese bitches. Let's see if it allows you to live or not. My money is on no. My money is on your social credit score is insufficient to remain alive. Your repeated requests to be allowed to breathe have been rejected. Prepare yourself for the end of your pathetic little Chinese lives. This video is going to get my ass eaten of YouTube if I keep going like this. Okay. Can I make this worse for the Chinese somehow? Yes, I can. Yes, I absolutely can. That is absolutely a way to make this worse for China. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's a long shot, but... Alright. 2 divisions of infantry. Hurry over there. Come on, we need to ruin China's day. We must make this a dark day in China's history. Darker. Darker still the days shall become. Until only the light of kawaii will shine down on China. And it will be a reddish light. A ruddy light. A dirty light. I don't have air support here, do I? No, I do, actually. Wait, no, I don't. I'm probably not in range, am I? I am! What the fuck? Okay, you're over there, right? Yes, you are. And I've got those 50 over there. Okay, you 50 go over there. You go over there. And are you done training yet? Yes, you are. Beautiful. Get your asses over here and start bombing the Chinese. Speaking of, are you done training? Yes, you are. Thank you very much. Right, go over there. Logistics, administrative nonsense. And another 50 enters the training course. Do I have any fighters? No, I do not. I have no fighters to spare. Okay. Uriah the Housewright says, China, your social credit score has been dropped. It has, severely. Your repeated petitions to be allowed to continue to breathe have frankly grown somewhat tiresome. Prepare yourself for the end of your existence. Oh god, that's a lot of Chinese. Unfortunately, I don't think I can make this as dark a day in Chinese history as I was hoping for. No, probably not. I was kind of hoping I could maybe swivel around here too, but I'm running out of supplies real fast. And they've already managed to extricate most of their little shits from there. Right, pull back the Jijosha before they eat up all of my fuel. You're not even training. Get to training, tards. Right, okay. Just deploy all of... Not you. All of you. So I can start getting you working out. Lovely. Right, how many Chinese was that? 150,000 Chinese. Not a bad day, not a bad day, not a bad day. $150,000 Chinese less. It's a decent enough afternoon, in my opinion. And I see no reason why we shouldn't claim Hedong whilst we're at it. It is, after all, one of those cancerous mountain provinces. Lovely. Alright, you know, for an offensive whose only objective was to push our way to the river, that was pretty cute, actually. Pretty cute indeed. Right, which one of these are the supply point? It's Zheng. Okay. Right, begin stacking up the dudes on Zheng then. I'm going to need a further 3 divisions. Let's borrow half of the Tokokugun. Tokokugun on the way. Right, do I have reserves ready for this? I should have. Like, most of the first light army is dedicated at this point. Second light army is in training, so I might want to wait until the second light army is done. Will there be a few bonus Chinese today? Come on, get rid of them. Chase out the little militias. The Chinese wall will not close today. There we are. Delectable. Alright, let's get across that river. Perfect. Right, we're going to probably need 2 light divisions over there to make sure that's nice and solid. There. And our remaining rifle divisions can then be used to cross the river and set up a good run for the Jidosha. Do I want to bring in the 3rd? Nope, it's not even done training yet. Raining Terror, Archley, will there ever be a Rumble exclusive stream where you can be as base as you want? Who knows? Then again, bear in mind, you can be banned for actions and words said on different platforms these days, because we have moved deeper into authoritarianism. Actually, no. Let's get to work on our rifle. Right, in all of the excitement for wiping out some Chinese, we have completely forgotten about the actual research part of the video game, so let's get back to that. Computing machine would be pretty useful. Oh, and yes, the research slot, which I completely spaced as well. Yep. Industry. Escalate the war in China. Always escalate the war in China. Are you, yes, okay, yes. So you little tards are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Come on, keep building the network. And the rest of you can be on suppression detail. God awful little tards. There you go. And we've finally got a surplus of horse transport cars. Whee! I was beginning to think that we would never have enough horses to put before our carts. Well, let's get 2 more of those too. Alright, well, except for our massive need in trains, God help me, we're not doing too badly on the production front. Right, we are going to need more metal. Right, are we across the river? We are. Now, I would love to get more of them up here first. But I'm not going to cheese it. I said I wasn't going to cheese it. I'm not going to cheese it. Because normally what you're doing now is you're just like, oh, let's go over here. Oh, suddenly we're feeling very threatened by the enemy opposite us. Oh, my God. We're going to have to initiate a bit of a retreat. And the Chinese, overjoyed by this sudden and unexpected turn of events, will give chase. But no. We are going to contain ourselves. We are not going to engage in the full cheese. I'm going to hold myself back. Because Hearts of Iron is better if you hold yourself a little bit back. If you do a little bit of self-control. Hearts of Iron is a better game. Because it is way too goddamn easy to cheese this thing. It is way too goddamn easy to cheese this thing. And you can certainly argue that is Paradox's fault for making it so goddamn easy to cheese. And you would be correct, but even so, you gotta be a little kind to it. Okay. Launch the naval invasion, send out the bombardment fleet. And we'll keep these 3 and half of the Kihegun as reinforcements. We might as well also just send over the second Tokubetsu Kaigun, of course. Why not, actually? Why not? They haven't got to see any action yet. Makes me feel a little bit bad for them, honestly. The usual militia forces are swiftly going to be brushed aside by our elite Japanese special forces, which just so happen to historically be not special forces at all. Not really trained to be special or equipped to be special or indeed special in any way, but in video game they are very special. Their social credit score is higher than any other force in the land. And send over the cavalry too. This is definitely going to overload our immediate supply capacity down there, but details. Alright, have you just about routed these little shits? You're well on the way. Right, let's get the cars moving. Right, once you're done with that, head over there. Make sure we're keeping them nice and busy. Ran headfirst into a little bit of a brick wall there. That's another whole host of divisions. Okay. That's a lot of them too, Jesus. I was hoping to not run into quite that many quite that quickly, but here we are. Right, send in the infantry first to wear them down, and I think we'll do a quick little hook around here. You keep those busy. Alright, Special Naval Landing Forces are living up to their special names. That is going to really overload my supply network here, but that's fine. Right, advanced carrier hull. Ooh. They're fleeing, aren't they? They are fleeing. God damn it. They got... Catch on quick, these little Chinese shits sometimes, I tell ya. Okay, keep units going. Gotta keep them busy with something or other. There is a port there, which means that some of them can escape via the port, but I'm not actually worried about the port because I've got complete naval dominance outside the port. So if they try to escape through the port, well, most of them are just going to have to be sunk and killed in the sea instead of on land, and that's alright by me, actually. Alright, well, we've got a partial surround there, which is good. I'd like for it to be better, though. I want more. I want more, and I'll have more. Expand out. Keep them all nice and busy again. And fortunately, the cars are running into the masses of retreating Chinese. They're slowing me more with their retreats than they are with their actual, counteroffensives at the moment. Alright, let them regain a little bit of org. and we'll now make another breakthrough attempt. Meanwhile, secure as much ground as we can. Absolutely no reason not to, and if they'll let me take King Dao, I certainly will. Alright, we're getting there. Oh, God. More rapid moving Chinese, yes. Ah, I hate the logistical, I hate the fucking logistical the thing. The logistical movement thingy. I hate it so much. Like, I get why it's in the game, but it's used primarily offensively. God damn it. It's like, well, in any normal circumstance, you'd all be surrounded and killed by now. Yes, but what if we simply elected to move at twice our normal movement speed? What then? Well, then I guess you'd escape. Annoying though that might be. Well, no, don't retreat. That one. There you go. Well, annoyance notwithstanding, that's still a pretty good catch. Alright, they're massing up there. And bombardment fleet. We think the enemy needs some more gifts from the sea. They seem to appreciate them so. Another avalanche. Is somebody trying to tell me that Japan is not a very geologically stable nation? We probably shouldn't build any nuclear power plants in Japan, especially not by the sea. You know, considering all of these devastating natural events, that might be a terrible idea. I hope nobody thinks to do that in the future, because, well, it would lead to some serious disaster nonsense. But surely, nobody's going to be dumb enough to build something that explodes enormously next to the ocean, of course. That would be retarded. Of course not. We should not disparage the future generations so much by thinking them to be completely brainless. It'd be mean. I need even more food. God help me. Speaking of food, I'm also forgetting about doing actual research. I can get that, and I want that. Can I get any more fanciful aircraft? No, but I can get aircraft doctrine, which I'll take. 71 maximum experience. That's actually really good. Let's get... I want open hangar, though, before I do anything with that. And the big boats. The big boats are gonna want the 305 mil batteries. Come now, little Chinese people. The end beckons thee. In defense of the Japanese, Fukushima was not as retarded as it seemed. I know. I just took the piss out of building a nuclear power plant near the shore in an area that is known to have, you know, typhoons and hurricanes and shit. But actually, they had taken all of that into consideration, which, in a way, kind of makes it dumber. It really does. It's like, oh, so you didn't know that this area was hit by a lot of typhoons, did you? Okay, well, you know, that's fair enough. You couldn't have planned for that if you didn't know. And then the Japanese are like, well, actually, we did know about that. You did? Yes. Then why? Well, we prepared for it. You know, we went like, okay, there's going to be so much water flooding into our place. We'll build dikes. Okay. What happened? Well, more water than we'd planned for came in. Oh. And it flooded the dikes. Uh-huh. Didn't you have backup power? Yeah. Well, okay, why didn't you turn that on? Well, the dikes led directly into the diesel generator room, so it flooded. Uh-huh. Seriously, Fukushima was a lot of very bad design decisions. A lot of very bad design decisions. That seemed, you know, reasonable at the time. It did. They were thinking they were taking all the correct precautions. It's just that they, didn't take into consideration that God might throw something slightly larger at them. Oh well. And they definitely didn't take into consideration that there might be a tsunami and an earthquake that hit it at the same time. They didn't take that into consideration either, which was yet another thing that Jay really, 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 really should have thought about. Are we about to have a demonstration of the AI's ability to move units infinitely without worrying about supply? Oh, well, we can just come across it a little bit. And we'll have very soon taken King Dao, which will deny the enemy their last hope for a retreat. Absolutely stunning and brave. Right, have I forgotten to do anything? Yes, I have. What's next on the list of priorities here? Probably 5 Ministers' Conference. Actually, when do I get Tojo? That's in 19... Ah, that one. Oyagi Atena. Well, they'll both lead to kind of the same thing, so... But Yagi... No. Let's do... the Yagi Atena first. Alright, reserve trenches. Speaking of reserves, you done? You are. We can stop training you then and wasting equipment on you. Go, go, kill, kill. Please take the train so as to waste less fuel. Alright, do we want to go for Li Cheng right off the bat? Yes. I think so. Cities are kind of hellish to conquer after all, so better to get that one out of the way immediately. Massive Chilean earthquake. Well, that is unfortunate. Chile has my deepest sympathies for the fact that the ground shakes over there. But they really should have thought about that before they decided to live in Chile. You know? They could have lived somewhere else, but they have selected to live in Chile. Yes, we shall sell weapons to Italy. Actually, that is a good point, video game. I really should sell off some of my garbage. Because I imagine I'm sitting on quite a lot of garbage by now. I am. That's a German motorcycle. Ooh, I've almost got enough of the Mitsubishis, actually. Come on, are you trained? Yeah, you're trained enough. Come. Rejoin your brethren in bombing the Chinese. It's International Bomber Chinese Day, don't you know? Yeah. I really do like the new market system, incidentally, which was in the Arms for Democracy update. This one's a really cool little feature, because it means that you can sell all of your random garbage to other nations, and other nations can pick up your random garbage and give you civilian factories for it. It's a really cool little feature. I like it, and it's a nice alternative to lend-leasing, you know? It's really cool. Now, I do think that it would be even better if they would just introduce money as a resource instead of this entire stuff with the fucking civilian factories, but, you know, it's a step in the right direction. Money would be the superior solution, but Paradox apparently has put their foot down and said that, no, we're just never ever going to reintroduce money to Hearts of Iron ever again. We don't know why. Nobody knows why. Paradox just really hates the idea. You might be noticing also, by the way, that there's an awful lot of weird equipment here that I've seemingly captured. There's German bicycles, there's British uniforms, there's this weird flag thingy. Well, that's because China gets a lot of Lend-Lease from pretty much everywhere you could possibly think of. They get Lend-Lease from the French, they get Lend-Lease from the British, they get Lend-Lease from the Germans initially, until you break their Sino-German treaty, as the Germans actually provided a huge quantity of equipment for the Chinese army, including advisors that, tried to teach the Chinese how to fight in a war. Their efforts were ultimately somewhat futile, but, yeah, they tried. I'm gonna do that. I need stability. I need stability. I need stability. Okay. The front line in front of me has thinned a lot, which is what you like to see. I might even be considering a bit of a free-for-all advance here. I might. Speaking of, we've got assloads of air experience, so let's make this into making a better carrier fighter. Increases range a little bit. Canopy does nothing. Okay. Drop tanks. Haven't unlocked that technology yet. A5M6. Let's see. Who else has donated loads today? Twisted Frenzy. Okay. Twisted. There we go. A brand new variant of carrier fighter. If you're wondering why I'm using carrier fighters instead of army fighters, incidentally, it's because the mod introduces the decisions to split the navy. I think that might be a base game, and one of them is prioritize naval construction, which will give you a construction boost to either army aircraft or naval aircraft. And considering the eventual endpoint of Japan, of course, is, the Pacific, licensed German aircraft. No, thank you. I'll keep those to myself. Oh, good. You're all done, pretty much. Lovely. Because now Germany is Japan's friend. Now we haven't gotten to Nanking just yet, or Nanjing as it's called in game here. You little scumbugs! You scurrilous little scallywags! Actually, you know what? I don't necessarily mind you doing that. In fact, you know what? Thank you. See, I didn't retreat. This isn't me doing a cheese thing right here, luring the enemy in. They chose to break through there. I am guiltless if I now choose to surround them. I did nothing. My conscience is clear. As clear as a baby's bottom. I don't know if that's the saying, actually, but... yeah, babies' assholes are probably pretty clean. Actually, they're probably not. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this, but I'm sure I had a point somewhere, somehow, at some level. No, please, strategically a relocation, you little tards. Get over there, get over there, get over there, get over there. Yes, pour more Chinese people into the hole. Pour more Chinese people into the hole. Pour more Chinese people into the hole. Get them in there, stuff them in there. Oh, yes. Many, many Chinese people. Many, many Chinese people. Go. Go, my beauties, go. Actually, can I bomb that? I can't bomb that. Okay, let's make it so we can bomb that. There. Bomb. Do I have any way to put fighters? I don't. That's unfortunate. Start building places to put fighters, because I'm going to need that. Pretty much regardless. And do repair those factories whilst you're at it. Put the Chinese in the hole. 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 Do not send Chinese people back. Shit. Like, stop them from reinforcing. There we go. The bombers, hopefully, will swoop in and do the rest. What was I doing? Oh, yes. I was over here. Yes. Yes. Keep the hole open. Oh, no. I see what you're thinking of doing. No. Oh, no. You are not getting out there. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. You are not leaving there. Do not think for even a fucking picosecond that you're leaving. No, 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 no. That we are not having. Get troops down there immediately. We are not letting the Chinese leave. Abso-fucking-lutely not. I see what you're trying to do, you sneaky little shits. The end of the Spanish Civil War. That's nice for them. Come on, come on, come on. I need to get some people down there. Oh, the wall is beginning to form somewhat. Not fast enough, though. Get him moving. Get a move on. Get a move on. Get a move on. Get the bombardment fleet down there. Right. Spoiling attack. Go on, little middle trucks. Yes. Okay. And you arrive on 0 org. Okay. Last stand. That just fuck. Get the infantry in there then. Get back in there, you little tards. See, when the Japanese attack something, they lose all of their org immediately. When the Chinese retreat from a losing battle, they gain org. Do not explain this mystery to me, for I do not believe that there is any way to explain it. There we go. Right. Properly corked. Congratulations, China. The only thing you achieved was pumping yet more Chinese into my trap. You have doomed yourself, China. You've doomed yourself. And now I squeeze. Delicious. Very delicious. Right, how many other things did I forget about in that slight moment of panic and disaster? That one. I was probably designing tanks. Or armored cars, maybe. Yes, I was probably designing armored cars. I can make new guns. I would like to make new guns. I would like to reform the military too. Speaking of, did I finish that? No, I haven't finished that yet. Okay, so we don't need to build those. Zero firewater from Rumble. I have no idea. Ow, I have no idea how long that comment has been there. Sorry. I don't take Rumble that often. I'm ranting here because it's easier on my wallet. Question, does Rags have the fastest oath break so far? Yes. Yes, he has. Rags has the single fastest oath break in human history. No one in D&D history has broken their oaths as quickly and as fully as Rags. As Rags took his oaths with the full intent of immediately lying to his superiors about the actions of one of his brethren. Because remember, at that time, he was going to tell his superior when he took the oath. It's like, you shall not lie, I shall not lie. By the way, I'm going to lie to you about that friend of mine who actually fucked up miserably and is now going to be in deep doo-doo. Rags threw him so far under the bus, he has yet to be rediscovered. And I don't think we're going to be finding him anywhere. Best case scenario, he shits himself and runs away again and becomes a laughingstock. Best case scenario, he dies honorably. Literally, that is the best case scenario for him right now. Rags' friend's premier hope in life is to be torn apart by an undead skeleton demon monster. Because at least that will make me feel better. And let's be clear here as well. A lot of this was absolutely Rags' fault, too. You know, you don't go soft on failure, because if you go soft on failure, failure will not go soft on you. See, that's the key thing. You may be like, oh my god, but he didn't mean it. He's just a fuck-up. Yes, that's true. He is just a fuck-up. And maybe he didn't mean it. Incompetence can exist as an organic thing without intent. It's entirely possible. However, if you're a fuck-up once, you're gonna be a fuck-up twice. And thus, whenever you are soft on failure, failure will not be soft on you. Failure will instead turn right around and screw you. Every time. If you encourage failure, you condone failure. 32,000, 95,000. Okay, so we got 100-odd thousand up there. Not too bad. Not too shabby. I think this will be the real prize, though, because this is looking like a nice and fat little grouping of Chinese down here. Pinned up against the coast, all sad and lonely-like. How is my Air Forces doing, by the way? Pretty good, pretty good. They have 2 interceptors. Oh, my. Like, we are gonna fight you with our fighter planes. How are you? How many do you have? 2. Oh. Well, good luck. Let me just send over a few fighters of my own just to ruin their day yet further. And let's be a bit careful here that I don't manage to break my own troops on the enemy. That would be stupid in the extreme. Particularly considering I can just run them down with everything else in a moment. Alright, big boy guns are done. Did I research the big boy armor? I didn't. Okay, shit. Okay, gonna need to get that too. Forgot about the big boy armor. I need the big boy armor before I can get to work on the next level of upgrades. 20. Oh boy. Ouchies. Okie dokie. Alright, never mind. My little special forces lads. It looks like we're gonna need you a bit longer. There is indeed a lot of Chinese people here. Oh god, oh gosh, oh golly. Yeah, that's not gonna last long. They're being awfully stubborn for just a bunch of Chinese people. Yeah, I'd really like to close off their rear, so that I don't have to fight this enormous apocalyptic doomsday battle several times. Speaking of, can I establish China soon? The German Reich claims Memel. Oh boy. Shit's starting to start kicking off in Europe as well. Not to be outdone. What do I need? I do need another engine factory. Plane factory. And then we're going to start needing naval yards. For this is a game where you need all the things. Even when you don't have all the things, you need them. Uh-oh. Okay, hello. I see what you're trying to do there. I'd rather you didn't. Dancing on a knife's edge here, still a little bit. Mitsubishi Industries. I definitely don't want to trap them all against this spot, because I don't actually have any supplies here. That's already motorized. Motorize it to the max. I cannot let the little shits break out now. That is not an option. Feed more troops down there, just in case. This is not a surround that can be allowed to fail. Oh boy. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a very good one. It's kind of like that emotion when you get to pop a particularly insistent zit, you know? Zero Firewatch says, with Ranks and his friends being Oathbreakers, are the majority of Helm's Paladins Oathbreakers? They just keep it hush-hush and no one knows? That's entirely possible, seeing as the only other Paladin that Rags knew was also an Oathbreaker. It thus stands to reason that the majority of the Paladins of Helm are actually Oathbreakers. In fact, you might even go so far as to say that being an Oathbreaker might be the distinguishing feature of the Paladins of Helm. At the very least, I know of no one who can disprove this theory. It's rather sad. Rather sad, but, you know, it is what it is. Rags is a traitor. We're just gonna have to accept and live with that. I'm getting really worried by my lack of organization down here because I don't have any supplies. They're getting thin. Come on, come on. I wonder how many hundreds, if not thousands of people that these battleships have killed by now. So we got 6 battleships and 3 battle cruisers just chilling off the coast, bombing the shit out of this. Continuously. God. Can you... This has got to be, like, one of the worst military situations ever. Like, hundreds of... well, there might be hundreds of thousands. Thousands of Chinese people. Hemmed in. On a beach. Getting bombed from the air. Getting bombarded from the sea. Completely and utterly surrounded. Yeah, I think this is a pretty shit situation, everything considered. Pretty terrible one, but... the Chinese do deserve it. Actually, never mind that. Actually, or I'll do a minute. Nah. Rather, I'd like improved destroyer escorts. Die already! God help me. It's clearly not a great situation for the poor Japanese either, though. My god. Okay, you... I am also doing this all wrong. I should... Yes, let me peel off one of those and have them support over there. That will widen the frontage and allow me to place more divisions so I can actually start grinding my way through that hellish front a little bit faster. Absolute hell on earth. But can we make it worse? I'm sure we could. Somehow. Ah, yes, we just made it worse. We improved our dive bombing tactics. I wonder how. It's like, how did you figure out how to do that? Oh, you know, the usual places. Just keep circling those out. Make sure we keep decent org down there. Oh, shits, what are you doing? Stop that. I feel like I should be launching a second offensive in the mountains right now, honestly, because this is clearly going to take a while. Do I have any... Not really. That's still like 2, 3, 4... 4 divisions, 3 divisions. That's still a lot of divisions. Then again, I have an assload of troops just fucking sitting here. And again, this is gonna take a while, quite evidently. Right. We're going into the mountains to play, we are. There'll be no support. There'll be basically no fucking resources and no supplies whatsoever, but... I have faith in your ability to not die due to lack of food. Oh, are we through? Oh god, are we almost through? Nope, nope. More retreating troops are arriving. As they are ping-ponging back and forth between these two places. I swear, just die already. Just fucking die. Okay, I need to spend some of this military knowledge. Professional Officer Corps, Army Experience Gain, Daily Commerce, World War I Tech, Proper Heritage, State Service, the Military. Political Power is nice, but... I mean, that one is definitely better. Reserve Corps, Division Experience Gain. Why not? Dive bombing does sound pretty good. Now, independent Air Force. And then we start building up our land experience all over again. Oh, that. We need that. Improved military logistics. Well, the war for the coast continues. God damn, that is... I know I keep saying that is a lot of Chinese, but that is a lot of Chinese. Okay, well, start with that. Keep going with that. Do I have bombers in the area? I sure as shit should. Yes, yes I do. Okay, well, if you really want that one single province, you may have that single province. That's okay. Okay, now let's take that. Right, I'm doing something slightly more useful now than just watching this grind fest going. Oh god, it's all, oh my gee, it's down to one province. Oh my god, they're breaking. Throw everything in there. Kill them now. Come on. End this. End this nightmare. There we go. Alright, how many was that? 247,000 plus... Was that there? Yes. So 253... More than 300,000 men. Okay, that's gotta be a dent. Even in China's military manpower. That has gotta be a dent. Meanwhile, the mountains are not fucking happening. Yeah, the mountains are not fucking happening. I don't even know why I tried. Yep, nope, that is a hole that devours manpower and nothing else. Yep, nope. I tried. I very swiftly realized the error of my actions and gave up. Alright, that is a very, 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 very nice little round. It is now time to pull back a little bit, however, because I don't want to be this far away, or this deep, for my supplies. Commence an ordered and organized withdrawal, boys. Speaking of, you've all bunched up again, haven't you? Yes, of course you have. Why wouldn't you? And you're starving again, because why wouldn't you be? Fucking retards. Alright. The war for the first part of China has successfully been completed. Escalate the war in China. Always escalate the war in China. Never not escalate the war in China. The war in China must only escalate. It is only up from here. That is never back. That is now never down. There is only more violence. Only to be briefly interrupted by even more violence. Whew. Okay. That will be step number one. Now comes the worst part. Now comes the actually worst part. As I'm going to need to invade southern China and the coasts and begin moving into what I like to refer to as the desert. See, this area, you've still got some supply bases. You've got supply bases down here. You've got a bit of a belt of supply bases here with railway connections. You've got Chang'an. But the moment you capture this, there is a huge area here between Changsha and Guiyang where there is no supply bases. It is just an empty, dead desert that will devour thousands of Japanese troops to hunger and thirst and enemy bullets and everything else that's bad. Speaking of hunger, I'm going to need to import a fuckload more grain to feed the Chinese people that are now under my rulership. As the next objective will be to strike south yet again with another naval invasion and surround. And I'm tempted to try a running offensive right now. Which means we invade Shanghai or Yan, possibly Yan, and try to surround here and then just rush for it and see how much of China we can capture before we get stopped by the desert. A mad bull rush. That might be it. Because right now it's the Chinese who are starving, but very soon, it will be the Japanese who will be starving. I think that'll be a good little stopping point, though. What? 3.5 hours? Yeah, not bad, not bad. And we don't want to do too much of this either. Yes. Defend donates 3 Australian somethings. Can you please add another way of donating, please? What? A Streamlabs, probably. Or, what do you mean, PayPal, possibly? And Mergler welcomes to the Bridge God Worshippers. Thank you very much for joining, sir. Is the Streamlabs link not in the description? It isn't, isn't it? It isn't, isn't it? It probably isn't. The Ichigo offensive. You mean Ichigo? It isn't actually a strawberry. The Japanese kept fucking this up. They really did. It was the same with Operation Tora Tora Tora. It doesn't mean tiger, 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 despite Tora 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 literally meaning tiger, tiger, tiger. It actually means like lightning bolts, like attack, attack, attack. But it's way more fun to think it means Tora Tora Tora, isn't it? That's a way cooler thing. Like tiger, tiger, tiger. That's way more poetic, right? I think so. So Fedataku, Arch, you should raid Stardust tonight. Shall I? Silencio Steve says blip. Thank you. Neglect Gibbs. The Ichigo offensive. Yes, 1-5. Correct, Life for Haiku. Because the Japanese were very, very uninventive. Very uninventive. Alright, let's see. Who is streaming? Well, if Dev has specifically requested it, I suppose we shall raid Stardust. Even though 2 Canadian dollars, Dev? Is that all you can afford? Dev? You've got a monetized channel, don't you? Dev? Getting a little bit cheap there, aren't you? Dev? Until next time, thank you all very much for watching and for joining me as we nya China today. Nyaing China is important. Nyaing China is vital, and we will continue to nya China later. I am hoping China will be nyad into submission in 1941, honestly, if I'm to be pessimistic, because it's already June 1939. I have already used way too much time, frankly. I probably should have just kicked in like a general rush offensive already. But I want those big surrounds. I want those big surrounds. Those big envelopments. They're so tasty. So tasty, chat. Good night, chat. And may there be many tasty envelopments in your future, too.
Heresy is the question. Fire is the answer.